Hello everyone! Welcome to the Osumania 4K World Cup 2024 edition. And for this match, we're going to be having one in the round of 32 between Thailand and Romania. Seed number 3 versus seed number 30, as you can see on the screen right now. I'm Silas Kaels, and joining me on the commentary booth is none other than Ray Vale. Hello there, how are you doing today?
Hello, doing really well, and we got a bunch of matches from this point onward to the end of the round of 32. And we'll be starting off with this Thailand versus Romania, the first time these two countries will be facing each other. It's also the second time that Romania has actually made it to a knockout stage of the Mania World Cup. Thailand have made 3 changes to their roster, bringing in Matcha Latte, Kiruru, and Banan. Kiruru and Banan returned from the 2022 roster. And as for Romania, they've made 2 changes, Rotitza and Lefield for the first time since 2022 as well. So protects are already coming in hot. Thailand will be protecting Rice 2, Romania protecting SV1. And we'll be seeing what bans will come from both these teams later on. I think Romania protecting SV is the most sensible. I think Romania has the best chance of taking points off Thailand on the SV, because Thailand's SV is definitely the biggest outlier in Thailand's qualifier scores.
I can definitely see where Romania's coming from there. I mean, I agree that the qualifier SV is still a little bit like... I mean, I don't know if it's harder really, but it's kind of expected to be harder, right? But then again, we don't really know. I think SV is like around a round or maybe 2 rounds harder around there. But here's the caveat though, Romania and Thailand's qualifiers are pretty far apart. Thailand has a 100,000 point advantage on Romania on the SVs. But then again, SV differences like that are actually kind of common. Like 100,000 points, that's a pretty dominant fashion. Like I think 100,000 points on an SV pick is something like a 30,000 point lead on any other pick. Could be wrong though. But the thing about SVs is they typically have lesser objects than the rest and also are typically physically easier. Wow, that was a mouthful to say.
But yeah, bans also coming in. Romania banning LN1, very understandable, and Thailand also banning the other SV, also very understandable. And Thailand are immediately going for the LN. I mean, Thailand's LNs are just on a different level. 2nd on stage 4, 4th on stage 5.
Alright. Yeah, I mean, LN is the way to go for Thailand. Like, they are extremely good at that skill set. But I won't be surprised if Hybrid's another thing they're gonna go for. See, the thing about lower-seeded teams is they're typically really good at Rice, or at least Rice is their best skill set, and fall off on everything else. I think Romania's one of those teams, actually.
Yeah, just basing off qualifier scores, Romania really can't hold a candle to Thailand on really any stage apart from SV, I would say. Which is why they protected SV1. But this is going to be a huge testament to Romania's non-SV skill sets, which is basically everything else.
I mean, okay, let's put this into perspective. I actually think Romania's Rice may stand a chance if Thailand finds a choke or 2. Because looking at these statistics, Romania has a 2970 on that accuracy pick, which is Rice 1. And while that doesn't sound like that high compared to Thailand's 2989, it at least shows that they're able to accurately play those files to an extent. So I think, in terms of the Rice department, maybe Romania stands a chance if Thailand drops a miss or 2, and let's say Romania's very consistent.
We're going to go right into Brain Rigid Go. Having Matcha Latte and Kiruru for Thailand. Romania will be Mitch, Koo, and Kerbo. And that is a very... I hope that is ventral, but that doesn't look like it is. That's a huge mistake from Kiruru right at the start. It's not going to hurt as much compared to if Kiryu misses after the 400 combo mark, but that is actually going to give the lead to Romania for now.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the lead's already decreased so fast, even with all that, because of Kirbo's accuracy dropping a lot. If Kirbo was on the 99.6 range, same with Q and Mitch, maybe this would have still been Romania's lead, but it's clearly going back to Thailand right now.
Yeah, Kerbo is struggling in accuracy, dipping below 99% as well. The other two players actually doing pretty well, still holding 99.6, matching Matcha Latte, but Pavin is having an absolute field day as Kirubo misses again. The lead does shift to Romania by a bit. It's actually flickering back and forth because of the mistakes that Kiru have been making. But Pavin's accuracy, what the heck, 99.9. And that lead is just going to stay in Thailand's favor, and it's going to stay way further now as Kerbo finds that miss.
Yeah, that lead's gonna start to balloon a little bit towards the Thailand side, especially if Kirbo is not able to consistently hit those. And as I say that, this is really gonna massively hurt their chances. Even though Mick and Ku are performing very well, just not being able to consistently accurately and be consistent on this is going to hurt Romania a lot.
Yeah, there has to be multiple misses from Thailand, and it just can't be from Kiruru anymore. It has to be from the other two players as time is running out.
At this point, you gotta hope for someone like Matcha Latte to drop. Because like even if Pavin drops, it's not gonna change too much. But if Matcha Latte drops, that could really be a big dent. But it's not gonna matter anymore, as Romania only really has one player that's able to match the other two players' accuracies, and that would be Ku. But that's about it, really. The rest are just not able to keep up. And
Yeah, 160 from Pavin.
and 206 from Kiruru. Like even with those misses, that okay, yeah, wrong key for 2 seconds. But I think even without that bad start, I think it wouldn't have been a full combo either way. Like we did see Kiruru miss another time, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
They missed again in the middle. And it's so funny because we talk about how like Kiruru messed up so much, and they still matched like Romania's second best player as well, which is just like if Kiruru didn't mess up, that would be such a sick team score from Thailand.
It would have been, but honestly, I feel like I'm not gonna like explicitly say it on stream, but something tells me that Thailand's score could have been much better.
Yeah.
But then again, this score that they have right now is already a very competitive one. So either way, they have to be happy with that.
I mean, what's in the past is in the past as Romania. Now they go for their SV pick.
Huh. So they want to go with this pick right now. I'm not sure what to feel about this actually.
I mean, we'll see. The players are definitely going to be swapping out and in. For Thailand, on stage 1, they had Konkawi, Pavin, and Banan. For Romania, it was Mitch, Ku, and Rotitza. So we do see Rotitza being swapped in for Romania.
Alright, so I don't know, my take on this is Romania can definitely steal a point if they practice this a lot. But if they don't, I see them not being able to. I mean, obviously. But I won't be surprised if Thailand have a really good score on this, because this is one of the easier SV picks, especially for reading, and I think they have the assets to be able to form a very strong to score this. As for Romania, I can't really give my answers yet, and we could only really see from how they play this map right now.
It does seem like Matcha Latte is going to stay in for Thailand.
Alright, so Matcha Latte being in, again, I can't really comment too much on SV ability right now. But it does seem like accuracy-wise, Thailand is currently in the lead. Mainly because of Mitch's accuracy. Oh, as I say that. Oh, that's 2 massive hits to Romania right now. But, like, you can't just rely on Matcha Latte's accuracy, because while they are matching that, they need to have those scores that match the likes of Pavin and Banan. So if this is their answer to what potentially could be their best chance at taking a point, I don't think it's looking good at all because this part is, well, this part is the hardest one compared to the rest. It's no slouch either.
The thing with Thailand's like SV is that Pavin is, sorry, not Pavin, Banan is by
Whoa.
far Thailand's best SV player. Yeah, a couple of uncharacteristical drops from Matcha Latte down to 96, and that's already like the lowest in the lobby.
Yeah, honestly, that's a big dent. Like 10,000 points out just from that is already big. But Romania just has no answer to those 299s, and that's exactly why they can't capitalize off that. Because the thing is, Machalase isn't that far off Mitch and Ku, and even Rotitsa to an extent. Like, yeah, it's just gonna be a big problem. If Thailand doesn't miss and again, then I don't like Romania's chances on taking this point.
Oh no. Yeah, those chances might be squandered as Rotitsa finds that miss. No FCs on Romania to 2 from Thailand with a 99.94 from Banan. There has to be drops from both Pavin and Banan at least to see this lead even shrink to Romania's favor.
Oh, but
there is a
Matcha
little-
Latte
yeah.
finds. Yeah, but that trade isn't gonna matter too much. 50,000 points, like overcoming this would require like around 5 misses. Because I think one miss is like 10,000 points, so for 10. And that's just not gonna happen right now. This part isn't that difficult anymore. Like, all you gotta do is hold those LNs and really hope that you can read those
Rice sections, like sort of teleports, which again aren't the hardest SV pattern that you're gonna be finding in this entire tournament. And just like that, I think Thailand takes this very comfortably actually.
Yeah, definitely off the back of a really good score from Banan. That should be a V1 WS, that is, and 77 300s to boot.
Not gonna lie though, Pavin's score 979k, that is also a very commendable score. Like, it's clear as day that Thailand was able to practice this more than Romania. Just very unfortunate, really. Matcha Latte, I think, actually has the lowest score in the entire lobby, but it
Yep.
was just more than enough to keep them afloat on that pick. And just like that, Thailand's up 2-0, and I think we all know what Thailand's gonna pick. It has to be LN3.
Yeah, a fight in Tunisia is, I would say, the most sensible pick, but then again, I feel like any of the picks, like even Rice, but then again, we have yet to see how good Romania can perform on the Rice maps in the round of 32, so maybe stay a bit safe for now. But also, Romania will need to consider what they will have to pick.
I mean, yeah, but Thailand's picking right now, so before Romania can even worry about that, they gotta wait and see what Thailand's go for. Okay, Rice 2.
Ooh, okay.
Huh.
They are just gonna throw safety out the window. No safety has required in this match as Thailand are just going on full-on attack mode with the Rice. Jump stream. Okay, you know what? This kind of makes sense. It's not mid-game jump stream. This map's not mid-game jump stream, but they are first on stage 7. Literal first.
Alright, so they are indeed first in that, but you gotta consider a few things. Like, are they gonna have the same lineup that was number 1 in that pick? It doesn't look like it. They're gonna have Parponger in and Matcha Latte. Actually,
No
wait a
Konkawi.
minute.
No Konkawi. And Konkawi actually scored the highest for Thailand on stage 7, so I have a feeling that Konkawi might actually be missing in action for this match. We'll see if that will affect Thailand's chance. I don't think it will. I think Matcha Latte is very well suited to be a good substitute, regardless. And
Yeah,
we do see
I would-
Kerbo back in.
I won't be surprised if like that's the case. But I'm looking at the 3, and yeah, that was Parponger, Pavin, and Konkawe, and Konkawe
Yep.
doesn't seem to be here right now. But Matcha Latte should be good, more than good enough. Only thing is though, Konkawe is the more experienced tournament player, so that might play in a factor here. And luckily though, this is the most like straightforward patterns that you'll see in the Rice pool right now, so it shouldn't really throw you off too much.
However, my biggest problem again is, can they keep that consistency? Can they keep that accuracy? While it's the most straightforward, this one is one of those picks that Romania may have a shot at taking something away if Thailand does miss.
Yeah, and that is if Thailand misses and Romania don't. Because Romania know they are not beating Thailand on raw accuracy. So if this finishes as a 6-way FC, that's Thailand's point, like 99 times out of 100. So Romania really have to bank on holding on to their combos and praying that Thailand have a couple of misses.
Yeah, Matcha Latte still holding really good. Harponga and Pavin holding very strong accuracies as well. The thing about Romania is they're in a place where if Thailand makes a mistake, you're going to be able to strike something. But here's the thing, you cannot count on that. Especially with how straightforward these patterns are. You just cannot count on Thailand dropping a single note, regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah, it is crazy to think that Matcha Latte, who is performing the worst out of the three in Thailand, is doing better than the best from Romania.
Yeah, they're dropping accuracy already, which indicates to me that Romania's starting to get a little bit fatigued. And that's not good, because these patterns are going to keep on coming at you. And the more fatigued you are, the more prone you are to misses. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens in any of these one-handed trills.
Romania are still doing really, really well to try and at least give us some thought that maybe if Thailand do mess up, it would shift this lead back to Romania, but time is running out and the lead is actually growing in Thailand's favor because Paponga and Pavin's accuracy have stayed at the 99.9, I believe, since the very first note of this map.
Honestly, it's insane how everyone's just really consistent. Like, the fact that we're seeing this from a seed 30 team, it just goes to show how much teams have improved right now. And regardless of the patterns we're seeing, no one's gonna find a miss!
Wow!
Wow! A 6-way full combo! You rarely see these kinds of things, even in, like, round of 32. And, okay, so Kirby just dropped 450s, which could have easily ruined the 6-way full combo, but thankfully they were able to hold on.
How is it possible? How do you get 450s in a jump stream map and not miss? Like, that is bizarre, but hey, 6-way FC is a 6-way FC regardless. But yeah, I mean, really good showing from Romania, but you're up against a team that placed first on a jump stream qualifier, so the chances were very low to begin with, but still a really good shot from Romania regardless. And now the conversation comes in, what are Romania going to even go for?
I think they gotta go for Rice 4 actually, or Rice 5. Like, I think Romania's consistent enough. I don't know, that's just my take. Like, they could probably try to hope that Thailand misses on one of those technical picks. I think it's gotta be Rice 4, because I feel like Rice 4 has been a pick that's been friendlier to lower seeded teams. What?
Wait, they're going LN3. Whoa! Okay.
I don't like the I don't like this pick at all, honestly. I think maybe they're banking off the fact that Kiruru had the bad run on LN2, but that's just not something you can expect to happen again. Like, sure, Kiruru had the bad run, but it's not. But they're the kind of player that if a bad run happens, clearly in the next time they'll play something, he's gonna make up for that. And I don't like. That's exactly why I don't like this pick.
To be fair, if you're Romania and you just are given Thailand to go up against, you really don't have many good, safe choices. So this is just a roll of the dice.
I don't know, like, it's sure that there's no safe picks, because you're up against seed number 3 in Thailand. But you still have to, like, you still want to, like, try and pick something that's around your comfort zone. And looking at the qualifiers at the very least, I don't think this is in Romania's comfort zone at all. Like, seed number 30 on LN1 and seed number 33 on LN2. And this is like a sort of combination of what LN1 and LN2 is supposed to test. Wait a second, what? Oh.
Yeah, Matcha Latte already picking up a miss. They are beating out Kerbo in accuracy still, so that lead is actually going to flicker a little bit and probably going to stabilize in Thailand's favor as Matcha Latte picks up that accuracy as Kerbo drops more accuracy. 98.7. So yeah, lead in the favor of Thailand, not by much.
4,000 points. I mean, Romania was more consistent, at least currently. But again, if you're Romania, you cannot just rely on Thailand to find any drops here. Thing is, Matcha Latte's accuracy is still better, is still around Romania's second best accuracy, but that's just not gonna matter. Because Matcha Latte has the lowest accuracy in the Thai team.
Yeah, Kerbo is struggling to even make up that accuracy back to a 99, but Matcha Latte finds another miss. Now, this could hurt a little bit more now, because that is way past the 400 combo cap. But, again, that lead is still red because of Kerbo, who just can't seem to break through the 99% barrier.
I think Turbo's like releasing way too early. And this is the kind of thing, like, it's one thing to be able to release late, but when you're releasing early, like, especially on a round of 32, that's very concerning because this is a control heavy pick, and now Mitch finding a drop, that's not gonna help Romania's case at all.
Yeah, that will actually give a couple of missed buffers to Thailand now. They can afford to miss more than they should be able to, and it will still be fine because of Romania's miss. And Pavin and Kiruru still absolutely decimating this 99.9 average between the two of them.
Yeah, like, something tells me, when it comes to these very complex LNs, I mean, even on the more straightforward LNs, Romania struggled to act that already. And right now, we're already seeing sort of what makes me very concerned about this. I mean, yeah, Ku doing a very good job. 99.69 is super impressive. And Romania only having one miss. That's actually one miss lower than what Thailand has, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, Romania was more consistent?
Oh,
Never
it's
mind.
tied now.
I am so sorry. It's tied now, yeah. But here's the thing. I think what's gonna be problematic here is how Romania seems to struggle on that LN control aspect. And that's about it, really. But consistency-wise, whoa! 8 misses! Wait, where did the others come from?
Mitch missed twice. I believe it might be like a chain miss both times. Also, Pavin with a V1 double S.
And Kiril with only 1/200. That's very impressive. I mean, the fact that Romania LSQ beat one Thai ratio, one Thai players ratio.
Yeah.
That's already very impressive from Q. And honestly speaking, Romania didn't do that bad. Like, having 2 FCs is still something to be very, very proud of. And I can't like, oh, by the way, congratulations! Look at what they're gonna pick.
Yeah, Hybrid 2 is going to come out, so they're not going to go for another Ice. Which also means a back-to-back also originals. I don't know if that's happened yet. I don't think it has happened yet in the round of 32. That we see one OS original and then the next pick's the other OS original.
Well, here we are now. Congratulations to you, by the way, for having it being played on something you're commentating in. I don't think it's the first time, but still.
It's great to see that my song is getting picked and my map is getting banned. Like, I think that's pretty much the entire narrative of the round 32, just seeing...
You know what?
And then Nostalgic Lost Logic gets like banned in like half of the matches.
Wait, how do you pronounce it again?
Which? My song?
Yeah, your song. How do you pronounce that?
Hebe.
It's Hebe?
Yep.
I've been pronouncing it bad. Oh, my bad. Alright.
Yeah, I'm just basing it off the actual like pronunciation of the Goddess of Youth.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so, you know what I want to see? I want to see Hebe being picked and then your LN map. That would be fun. That would be nice.
Yeah, I don't think that has happened because I think in most of the matches where Hebe gets picked, Nostalgic Lost Logic is already banned. I guess it makes sense. People really don't like my maps. It's fine. I do my best. Also, seems like the referee is currently a little bit MIA. Or maybe the map is just not loaded in yet. We'll wait and see.
No, I have a feeling it's the ref because I didn't see the chat yet. But let's just wait for some technical difficulties. I mean, these kind of happen. But for now, honestly speaking, though, right? I'm just basing this off the match. It's kind of unfortunate that Romania's like sort of chances to take the points didn't really go their way, especially SV1
Yeah.
because I feel like they could have really gotten that. But stuff like that happens, and really, they've kind of shown that they have the consistency to be able to beat any of the like 17 to 20 something range. And I think that's already a point of concern. Because like, I don't know, I've watched a few matches already, right? And one of my biggest issues with them seems to be consistency. But Romania seems to be a little bit treading on the consistent range, but just could not be able to act it. I feel like round of 16 being a bit difficult might help their case on winning a few more points.
Yeah, Romania has actually been playing pretty well so far this match. Just unfortunately, it has to be seed number 3, but I think something else that's also quite unfortunate is that the loser of this match has to face Indonesia in the lower bracket, and Indonesia had a banger of a match, the only tiebreaker match so far this round of 32. Had a 4-2 lead over Hong Kong and unfortunately blew 3 straight maps to Hong Kong to lose that, but I think with that being said also, if Romania do go on to lose this, they will be in a position where they feel like they have had some good opportunities to take a couple of points off Thailand, but then they have to go up against a hungry Indonesia.
Wait. Oh, you're right. They are gonna go. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now that's a matchup.
I mean, if things stay this way, if Thailand actually closes out, yes. Nothing is over till it's over.
You never know.
Oh yeah, I see something in the chat. Do buy banners while we wait for this downtime. Did you
Yeah.
know that you can stack banners? You can purchase multiple banners and they will fill up the entire screen of your profile. And I don't know why you would want to do that, but hey, you get to support everyone that has been involved in the World Cup, so that's good. Even though it makes your profile a little bit messier, it's fine. You could just spend like 32 Thailand banners, because why not? Sawadee Cup, you know?
Or if you want to be creative, since it's the number 32, why not buy all the countries' banners?
Why? Yeah, why not? Yeah.
32
Support every
banners.
country.
Support every country. Let's go.
Alright, the referee is back. The map has been selected and we do see the players on our screen. So hopefully their break time isn't... Okay, good. I was just worried if someone might be away for a bit too long and then the referee's like, okay, we're just gonna start now. But it does seem like all 6 players are ready, so we'll get into this.
All right. I'm actually really excited to see how this one's gonna go. Because I really feel like we're gonna see some misses on both sides here because of how
I won't be
technical
surprised.
This is a very technical side.
I have already seen some players miss on that speed up trail towards the end. We'll get to it when we get to it.
That trail transition to an Ellen is very evil. Just why? Like, I'll admit, when I was playing Hebe in our match, speaking of the devil, there's already a miss. Like, here's the thing, my left hand literally almost missed on that technical portion. So I won't be surprised if others... Okay, well, as I was saying, finds
Yeah,
it out,
1-1.
right?
Yeah, but once again, Romania's game is basically trying to hold on to combo and hoping that Thailand misses more, because you're not beating them on accuracy. You're not beating a 99.9 and a 99.92 as Kerbo finds another miss that at least going to go towards Thailand even more now as Machalate recovers that accuracy back up to 99.5.
I think Romania's best chance of decreasing this lead is in this technical rice section. And honestly speaking, okay,
Ooh.
as I was saying again,
Machalate dropped on the L lens section of the rice.
now that's a little bit weird. Okay, so we have a little bit of a breather, but after this is where the technical part really starts to ramp up again. And when you're not careful, you could really find a few drops. And I think there's another break.
Oh,
As I say that,
yeah,
by the
Kerbo's
way-
not having a fun time.
this part is so good, by the way. Just wanted to say that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
By the way, shoutouts to featured artist Take Hirote for giving me the violin samples.
That's epic. But yeah, now, once again, technical parts. This can really make anyone miss, and watch out for the trill section after this. Let's see if anyone drops there. No
Oh,
one
wow.
does.
They actually keep
There.
the combo.
Very impressive. It's kind of funny that they missed on sections that we didn't expect them to miss. And now here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for Romania, but even better for Thailand that they are still able to keep 2 FCs. And the accuracy is intact. Pavin did drop below 99.9 and Kiruru still stays at 99.9. As we close out the map, this is another definitive point, and it is game, set, match for Thailand.
Yeah, I think the MVP probably goes to Kirulu. Yeah, very impressive work. Extremely good performance from Thailand. I mean, you can't really complain too much from that. But Romania put up a good fight. I mean, they played very consistent on a lot of these maps. Like for a lot of it, they had 2 FCs and only one player like found a miss.
Yeah,
Which is unfortunate, but I mean, again, it's the name of the game. And again, Thailand performed very well, but you gotta give props to Romania at the same time.
definitely. Those ratios on Pavin and Kiruru, by the way, you combine Pavin and Kiruru's 300 count and it doesn't even equate to any of the other players' 300 counts. That is disgusting to see. I mean, Thailand, seed number 3 for a reason. They are probably going to go quite far as they do advance into the round of 16 winners bracket and send Romania down to face Indonesia. I feel quite bad for Romania. I mean, anything can still happen. Round of 16 map pool hasn't been shown yet, and we'll have to see what happens to them when that happens. But Thailand will be facing Hong Kong next week. That will be a pretty good match, I think.
Hong Kong has the firepower to probably give some trouble to any country. I will say this though, for both countries, like they did well, they performed as they should, and I'm happy to see them in the world stage. But man, there's always gonna be opportunities here in the losers bracket, regardless of whatever position you're in. And honestly, that's the spirit of the tournament, like competition and all that.
Yeah.
It's really just a battle of who gets to perform in whatever setting they are in. And honestly speaking, I don't think anyone should be disappointed on how teams perform, because man, I know they're giving it their best all the time.
Yeah, but with that being said, 3 matches remain in this round of 32 stage. Malaysia versus Sweden will be next in 27 minutes, as well as Russia versus Spain. You might want to check that out in the B stream when that happens. And then we wrap things up with Brazil versus Italy. We'll be taking a 27-minute break. You got anything else to add?
Well, not much other than please stay tuned for the rest of the matches, because I'm sure you'll all enjoy whatever these teams have in store. Thanks so much everyone for coming to the stream, and see you in 27 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mania 4K World Cup 2024 round of 32 stage. We return for another match. In fact, two matches happening at the same time. It's Malaysia versus Sweden over here, and the Russian Federation and Spain on the other stream. But if you're going to tune in and stick around with us, we have these two teams facing off against each other for the third time in the 4K Mania World Cup series. 2015 and 2023, these two teams last faced off. Malaysia won the last match 6-3 over Sweden. Malaysia make 3 changes, adding in Pojin Sucks, Yon Hong and Icefy, previously known as Transition. Icefy will return for the first time since 2022. Sweden make 4 changes. They've only kept Neon Drakon and Lemmy, bringing in Trimatic, Oliver Q, Johnny, and Venyas. Trimatic also returns for the first time since 2021. So a couple of old faces returning for the first time, couple of new faces, some debut players that we'll definitely be seeing. I'm Ravio and I'll be joined by Sidlo Wesker Els. Hello.
Hello there. And there's definitely a lot of changes happening. I mean, for this tournament in general, we've seen lots of teams having their roster changes. I mean, it could be a sign of a few things, like a few generations or like any other stuff has already passed by then. Honestly, really nice to see, because for a good team, you need to have a good mix of veterans and also rookies, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that I think out of all of the teams that have players that have gotten a top 3 finish in the 4K Mania World Cup, Malaysia's one of them. Leon, the captain, actually has a 3rd place badge. So that experience hopefully could carry over to Malaysia's favour, as I believe the protects are already coming in. Sweden had a 2nd protect, which was Icefy. I'm not sure what Malaysia had protected, but Sweden will be banning next.
I mean, you also shouldn't forget to mention that like when you mentioned about Leon being in that 3rd place Malaysia team for MWC 2021, we can't forget as well Transition, Icefy was in the finalist team already 2022. J-Li for I think 40M 2021 was a part of that 2nd place. Okay, no, I could be remembering wrong. I think that's not true. But still, J-Li is still really good as a tournament player.
J-Li has been around the 40M scene, definitely.
Yeah,
and I believe some of the Sweden players are also part of the 40M team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So I was looking at the 40M team. Yeah, J-Li wasn't a part of that, so my bad for that. But still, J-Li does have that experience. So you know what, Rafe? I just noticed this. Isn't this the same set of bands that we saw last match that we commentated?
I did want to point that out. Yes, it is the same exact 2 bans as the previous match. LN1 and SV2 getting banned, as we see LN2 come out from Malaysia. I believe this was also the first pick of the previous match.
This was also the first pick of the previous one.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
This definitely makes some sense. Malaysia are 5th on stage 5, Sweden 27th. Definitely in Malaysia's comfort zone.
I mean,
we should see. Wait, sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say. We're just gonna see probably these lineups: Leon, J-Li, Yon Hong. For Sweden, will be Neon Drakon, Lemmy, and Oliver Q, because these are the 6 that play stage 5, and these will be the 6 that will play Brain Widget Go.
Neon Drakon should be able to keep up with most of the Malaysian roster. Sweden will have Oliver Q and Lemmy, which I think they're consistent, but accuracy-wise, they're probably lacking in that. Which is why they probably seeded like 27th, you say, on stage 5?
Yes.
Alright. So if that's the
Also-
case,
Yep.
yeah? Go ahead.
Very briefly, this is actually Malaysia's protect, so also makes sense.
Okay, so that I can definitely see why. I mean, here's the problem that I have. Like, the problem that I have, right, is the fact that
Sweden really has to rely on their Rice ability, and Malaysia is no slouch in that either. So, as of this moment, Yon Hong is the one with the highest accuracy. I mean, this is Yon Hong's first match. We're
Yeah.
talking about match, not like map played in MWC. And I have no idea if that's client, but I think that was no actually.
There seemed to be a definitive drop from Sweden's side as Oliver Q.
Never
picks
mind.
A couple more accuracy. Oh, never mind. But there were some accuracy drops from Oliver Q that wasn't fine. So their accuracy is now at 99.5, lowest of the entire lobby, as everyone else holding 0.8. Like, pretty much everyone else is holding a 0.8.
So that essentially means Sweden is in position to take a point, or rather to take the lead back, should Malaysia find a drop in any of these. And this is a very nerve-wracking map, I'd say, because when I played this, definitely nerves were kicking in. I think I saw Yon Hong drop a 200 earlier. These patterns aren't that friendly. Like, you see those 3-column patterns? They remind me of those Analyzer LNs back in the day.
Ah, yeah. But so far, so good for both these teams. It's just that Sweden are definitely falling behind a little bit as Neon Dracon and Lemmy's accuracies drop from 0.8 to 0.7. Jelai as well, but Yon Hong still holding a 0.8, and of course Leon, cream of the crop, leading Malaysia as they find a miss. Was that going to change anything? It was very clean.
And it's
Drops
also
to
very
0.79.
and it's also very late into the match. Kind of really too late. Unless someone like Jaylai or Lee or Yon Hong finds a drop, this lead is not gonna change. But it's Neon Dracon! You know what's funny about this? I think Neon Dracon was one of the higher, if not the highest performer in Sweden.
Yeah.
Seems like Malaysia and Sweden's best performers found a drop to trade with each other. Would have benefited more for either team had they not missed, but it happens. And just like that, Malaysia takes the first point, but Sweden didn't perform too bad on that. Leon only finding two bracelets. I think they probably overheld or maybe double tapped an LN.
Yeah, the miss that came from Neon Dracon hurt them more than Leon. Like, Leon dropped from like a 0.87 to a 0.79, and then Neon Dracon dropped from like a 0.7x, I don't remember what it was, but they dropped to like a 0.4, which was very heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I think Sweden's gotta go for maybe
Rice.
Rice 4? Like, I remember Malaysia was that one team who was able to full combo everything on.
Yeah.
So you can't really say that they are an inconsistent team. You cannot say that absolutely. But if I were Sweden, I would take a gamble with something like Rice 4 first, and then Rice 5. Because I feel like Rice 4... I don't know, I just feel like Rice 4, I did say this in the previous match, but Rice 4 has been more friendly to the lower seeded teams, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've seen like the lower seeded teams be able to take off points off of the higher seeded teams with Rice 4 or Rice 5. As I say that, Rice 5 is actually coming out.
So we're taking a gamble already on Rice 5, and we already know how chokeable this is. I won't be surprised to see Istify here. I think Yon Hong is gonna stay. Okay, so my prediction is Yon Hong, Progean, Sucks, and Istify. I think that's gonna be the 3 here for Malaysia. And for Sweden, we're probably gonna be seeing Neon Dracon, Lemmy, and let me check.
I'm thinking Trimatic.
No pun intended, by the way. I said no pun intended. Yeah, Trimatic makes sense. Trimatic makes sense.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking J-Live for Malaysia instead.
No, I think JLI is more prone to misses than Progen Sucks. I think Progen Sucks is better. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
You're right.
J-Live did play Stage 2, which was the tech qualifier. Which is why I brought that name up. But yeah, would you say that this is a better pick than Rice 4?
I mean, I don't know. Again, like what I said a while ago. Okay, so Venias is coming out for Sweden.
Oh.
That, all right.
Okay.
Okay, so looking at their scores, I remember Venias has in their profile, literally a turnip player. I guess that kind of answers why.
I mean, also to point out, Venyas did play for Sweden Stage 7 and Stage 8. Just interesting to see that Venyas is going to actually be playing the tech map as opposed to maybe something like Jump Stream or Speed, but we'll see if this will pay off. It is Sweden's first pick.
All right, that's true, but like, you don't want to lose a break point immediately because there's only five. This is only a first to five match, so
Yep.
whatever each point matters much more than let's say like a first to seven. But then again, we can't really see who's picked this favors yet. Because while I agree that Malaysia's probably more consistent, this is much earlier than what the rounds could probably expect, like in the qualifiers. But it does seem like Sweden has a slight advantage right now. I think that's off the fact that Jayla is slightly behind Venyas. But as I say, Draco finds a drop. That was a bit, kind of a dirty miss as well because it was on a technical part and that was a little bit of an act drop. But luckily, they're able to recover that quickly.
Yeah, they have to recover that quickly as well because Malaysia are going to run away with this lead for the time being.
Okay, well, Yonho... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, very, very good score from ICE5 so far, 99.9, the only one in the lobby.
Well, it's true that they're able to hold on to that very good accuracy. Consistency is going to be another question. And something tells me Yon Hong and J-Line, I don't know, something is feel. It kind of feels like someone's going to drop at some point. There is a technical speed section. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Many teams have found misfortunes on this part because it's very awkward. And yeah, as I say that, that's a clean miss again, but that's not going to help their cause. Sweden
Definitely.
finding another drop. Okay, but there's a more nasty one. Oh! Did they just...
Okay.
Did everyone else just hit that? What?
Yep.
Okay.
Lemmy, by the way, holding the best in Sweden and the second best in the lobby, but Neon Drakon misses again. This is turning from bad to worse for Sweden's case to try and snatch this point away.
Malaysia showing why they're the team that's full comboed every map on qualifiers. Sweden has the accuracy to match, I'm not gonna lie, but just the mere fact that Neon Drakon has found those misses is very unfortunate. And even if you say that Sweden has probably a consistency issue from the start, it's really just those unfortunate misses that happened. You can't even say that. It's probably just bad luck, really. As Yon Hong does drop accuracy and even Icefy to an extent, but it's not gonna matter anymore as Malaysia is gonna take a break point right after that first one. It's kind of funny, you know, don't you think, that the Ellen point was closer than the Rice one when you kind of expect it to be the other way around.
Yeah. But yeah, 2983 from Malaysia is very, very solid.
Extremely solid. And actually, like, if you were to look at Sweden's score, so that definitely beats out J-Lai, but I don't think it would have been enough to beat Malaysia. It would have been very close, yes, but I don't think it was gonna be enough.
Yeah, I think if non-Drakon FC, it would be very close, but Malaysia should still have it. But those are the ifs. Now we go into LN3, a fight in Tunisia, so I think we're going to see the players that played LN2 probably come back.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing Leon and... Who was that again? Leon and... Was it Jayla? Wait. Yeah, okay, it was Jayla.
Yeah, there we go. Venyas might be staying, which I think is fine because Venyas did play stage 4, which is the coordination LN.
I don't know about that actually. Wait, let's take a brief look at the MP link.
It's either Venyas or Oliver Q that will be playing this for Sweden. Neon Drakon and Lemmy are pretty fixed.
Something tells me Oliver Q is gonna struggle more on accuracy than Venyas, so I think it's the right call. I think you gotta put in the better act player than like maybe someone who can FC. Because the thing is, you can't just bank on Malaysia missing because again, they seem to be the team that's extremely consistent and have a very high accuracy ceiling as well. So maybe you gotta try and counter that accuracy ceiling, which is what I think Sweden's trying to do right now with putting in Venyas.
Yeah, but with the nature of this map as well, very erratic, very sporadic bursts of LN creates many opportunities for combo breaks, perhaps from Malaysia. We've already seen that on Brain Rigid Go with Leon. It might happen this time round. I feel like this map definitely is more prone to missing than Brain Rigid Go.
Not just that, but this map is definitely harder to act as well. Considering, like, Brain Rigid Girl is more straightforward as a song. This one
Yep.
has, like, some jazzy elements, if that makes sense. So it's definitely gonna be harder to time and harder to act in general.
Shoutouts to Sobam and Nemashi for this also original. Amazing song. As Leon does find the miss, I was saying, maybe Sweden were thinking, oh, Leon missing on Brain Rigid Go, maybe we can pick... Oh, sorry, not Sweden, Malaysia. Thinking it will still be fine. But Sweden will take this lead first. As Leon finds another miss, dropping to 99.4. Okay, now we're going into very questionable territory. Venyas is also struggling in accuracy, but Lemmy and Neon Dragon matching Malaysia.
Here's the thing though, yeah, like what you said, they're able to match Malaysia's accuracy, and Venyas is actually increasing at the same rate as Leon is. Like, Venyas doesn't have to reach that accuracy that Leon has. As long as it's within distance, this could be a pick that Sweden can take. But here's the thing though, can Sweden hold on to these very strong accuracies? Because this map is not going to be any easy. Neon Dragon has sort of also dropped the ball on being consistent. Like, we've seen a couple of misses from Neon Dragon on both maps. But here's a silver lining though. Seems like they're able to keep up on the accuracy department, but wait a second. Neon is starting to make some distance already from Venyas, and that's gonna be good news for Malaysia, but they gotta start catching up now, because they're about to run out of time. As I say that, Leon finding more drops. These technical parts are not friendly. Why do I feel like this is gonna be a bad sign for them for the hybrids? But as I say that Neon Dragon finds, that's a bad miss. That's a very bad miss for Sweden, because Yon Hong and J-Light are still extremely consistent.
Yeah, that lead's definitely going to shrink. But Leon's misses though. It feels like it's been placed at such bad timings for them.
Bad timing for them, perfect timing for Sweden. That's essentially what's happened. But this part is not any easy. Like, there's still mini jacks and rolls and all that. Like, those
This
left
will come
hand.
down to the wire.
My goodness, my heart is shaking a lot. And I can't believe I'm saying this in a round of 32 pick. Wow, here's the jazz elements. This can really make
The
your
lead's
act
shrinking.
up. It's shrinking, but it's
shrinking.
not fast enough.
Oh,
Vegas
no,
got it.
Venyas.
Wait a second. Wait, is it
It's
enough
not over.
for...
It's not over yet.
Not over yet. Not over yet. Oh,
Lemmy
wait.
missed it again. Is there enough time to
It's
switch
not.
it? It will not be enough time as
Wow.
Lemmy gets saved by the end of the map. Even with 2 misses from Sweden, in fact 150 from Neon Dragon, they will take the break point away from Malaysia.
This
Oh
is the
my
last,
gosh.
This is the last map I expected Sweden to take a break point off Malaysia.
Yeah, that's wild. And the fact
Like-
that Sweden, like, we felt that Sweden were performing worse on this too. Like, Venya's 2200 FC, sure, but like, wow. They somehow pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
That was so again, this is like the last pick I expected Sweden to take a point off. Just makes you wonder, what could really be? What could have really been? I think Little Princess could be a pick Sweden goes, but after Rice 5, I wouldn't be so confident anymore after that. I actually think Rice 1 could work for Sweden. I don't know, like something tells me consistency problem is gonna happen for Malaysia on Rice 1.
You know what's crazy? I actually think Sweden might consider going for hybrids. Like, after that performance with a fight in Tunisia. But, okay, Rice 4 it is. You did mention Rice 4 to be the first pick from Sweden, but it's going to be the second pick instead.
Yeah, Little Princess. I said this. I mean, I will keep on repeating this point. This pick has been good for the lower seeded teams for a lot of these matches. I am not surprised Sweden is trying to go for a knack on this one.
So IST5 is back in. Do we see Trimatic?
I think they're gonna stick with Venyas. And if Venyas is there, I think that's the right call. I don't know, I think that's the right call to make. Because if you think about it, Venyas was consistent enough. Wait, did Venyas actually full combo that map? Let me check. Yeah, Venya's
Which
did
map?
full combo that map.
Was it Hallucinate?
Okay, I don't, no. I'm talking about the previous one. I'm talking about the previous
Oh,
one.
yeah. I did mention 2200 FC, yeah.
And Venyas did full combo hallucinate as well. So even if
Yeah.
they want to go with Trimatic, who I think may have a slight accuracy advantage over Venyas, trying to go for the FC, I think is the right call.
Maybe comboing it out will be Sweden's game plan. But they have yet to win a pick of their own, so we'll see if this one works out this time round.
The only problem is accuracy, I think right now, is in Malaysia's side.
Ooh.
Here's the thing. Like, again, I keep on saying this, but Malaysia's consistency should not be questioned. And Sweden's trying to bank off that. That strategy just kind of, at face value, doesn't make sense, but it's really the only strategy that you can go for realistically.
Oh, actually, the accuracy might be favoring Sweden because Yonhong did drop quite a bit. But so does Ven. Yes, it's just flickering back and forth. But Icy Fire is just holding such good accuracy, 99.91. Okay, there's no lead. I'm just gonna say this right now. There's no lead. It's flickering back and forth. Yonhong does find a bit more drops though. Yeah?
I just noticed something. Looks like Yonhong is starting to drop some of those 200s on those trills. Makes you wonder, why not go for something like Sencon or Flare if that's the case? Because look at what's happening right now. Technical patterns seem to be something that Malaysia is really good at, but trills have been a little bit questionable right now. And this accuracy is off the verge of Venyas dropping a few 200s on that section. Now we have some mini jacks thrown into the mix. Are we going to be seeing any changes into this lead? I don't think so, actually. Unless we see a drop or two from Malaysia, this is clearly going to be on their side.
Yeah, accuracy game is pretty much done. Like that game is won by Malaysia, but the combo game still up for grabs.
Not much anymore. There's barely any time. And just like that, Malaysia takes another break point.
6-way FC, by the way.
I know, that's very rare to see. And wait a second, was it a 3 break points in a row?
I think
it was.
So.
Okay, so
Wait, no,
one-
it's not, because Malaysia won their own pick.
Okay, so only 2 points.
Yeah. But
Okay.
my gosh, those were some scores.
1-200 from Malaysia, by the way. So SV1.
Ah.
Okay, this is a good pick. This is a good pick in hindsight because Malaysia, I think, has a very strong SV team. I mean, they've always been good at SV.
Yeah, we might be seeing some new players come in as well because of this. I think Tosai being Malaysia's resident SV player, and for Sweden, I believe that's Johnny.
Alright, so yeah, I won't be surprised to see Johnny, I guess.
It does seem like Malaysia might want to use a timeout. Okay, Johnny is in the lobby. Switch over to Sweden. I'm thinking maybe Malaysia might be discussing on who to put for this map.
Okay, I think it has to be Leon, obviously.
Yeah.
Why not just go with like, okay, so I'm predicting... Wait, 1 second. Alright, so we're looking at the Malaysian team. It's probably gonna be Tosai, obviously. You gotta put in Tosai as well, because Tosai is a member of this team. Maybe Leon,
I'm thinking...
Tosai, and Yonhong.
Yeah, I was
my
gonna say. Because Leon, Tosai, and Yonhong did play stage 1. But we'll see if there are any other players that would want to fill in. Maybe someone like Pujin Sucks. Or perhaps Ice-Defy. I think I'll be quite surprised to see Ice-Defy coming for an SV map, but you never know.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be Leon, Yonhong, and Tosai. If not Yonhong, maybe Jailai, actually.
Oh, you know what? I feel like they might be using the timeout just to check the map again.
Oh yeah, I think they're doing that. Well, Sweden's clearly doing that. Look at. There's no CD.
Yeah, it's only Leon in the lobby. This gives me flashbacks of, I think, was it like Japan versus France back in like one of the older Mania World Cups when they went to tiebreaker And then I think Japan wanted to use a timeout just to look at the tiebreaker again because there were SVs in the tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah, right. Just reminded me of that.
This gives me those vibes. But of course, it's not a tiebreaker; it's just a normal SV map. But we do see Tosai come in, so that is quite definitive. I feel as Johnny also returns.
By the way, while we're having this sort of a break, you know what would be cool? If you were to support your team by buying one of these banners that will like just display on your profile, don't you think?
Yeah, you can buy a banner for USD 250, and if you purchase multiple banners, they will stack on your profile like Jenga. Or at least some of the Jenga games that I've seen, yeah.
By the way, that's $2.50, not $250. I just want to
Did I
say
just say 250? I said 250.
I know, but what if someone says 250, like $250? Just imagine.
Okay, I'll need to specify 2.50.
$2.50. There we go.
Yes.
whatever
Don't
that
worry.
is in your currency. Whatever it
It's
is.
not $250 just for a banner.
Don't worry.
I
Don't
mean,
worry.
that would be like what? 100 banners? I mean, you could technically buy 100 banners. Like, you could literally go and buy 100 banners now if you want to.
Yeah, I mean that goes well for like what? So that's 3 times of all the countries.
And then an extra 4.
Yeah, I think whoever's gonna scroll through your profile is gonna have a huge headache just trying to even get down to see like your scores. But okay. I believe those are the 6 players that we mentioned. All back.
Okay, so Malaysia's gonna be sticking with their SV team. Sweden, I think, same as well. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe they just used the timeout to check the SV map.
Yeah, I had a feeling. And you know what? I salute that. I like that strategy. If you want to use a timeout to look at the map again, go ahead and do so. Why not?
Why not, indeed? But now here we go. The thing about this SV is, I think most people can play this like without practicing way too long.
like a lot of the patterns are mostly reading based. I mean that's why SV1's here.
But there's a lot of sections you gotta be careful of. But wait a second, Sweden has the ACK lead right now, but I don't think it's gonna last too long.
It's currently off the back of Lemmy holding the 99.8. Currently the highest in the lobby, and Tosai as well dropping a bit of accuracy. Oh, Johnny as well, 99.2.
Yeah, but that kind of cancels out because Lemmy is ahead of Yon Hong and Leon by a decent margin, and Neon Dracon is around that level as well. Though Sweden has to increase that accuracy even a little bit, especially Johnny, I'd say, because I don't think Malaysia's gonna drop a lot. Because this section is considerably easier compared to the rest, and John dropping it to 100, that's not gonna help their case.
Yeah, and Tosai is also recovering back up to a 99.6, so that lead is going to stay firm in Malaysia's favor, but anything can still happen, as Lemmy still holds on to the 99.8, but is now joined by Leon and Yon Hong.
In fact, they are catching up to that accuracy very well. But the only problem, like just imagine, if any misses happens on this file, I think that's just it really.
That's
Luckily
a 200 from Yon
now,
Hong.
yeah, but that's not gonna affect it way too much because Johnny's still trying to play catch up with Tosai, and that's not something you'd want. This part is very 200 count bait, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's basically slow jam.
Yeah, and now here we go again with these patterns. Just gotta keep on going, really. 5,000 point lead. I mean, this isn't safe by any means, but if Johnny is not able to increase that accuracy, this is not gonna be good.
Yeah, it is still very, very close, but Johnny's accuracy might be hurting Sweden a bit more than they would think. Even
Yeah,
with a very good performance from Lemmy as well, but yeah.
there aren't really any opportunities to miss anymore because you only have reading sections, and these are again the easier parts of the SV chart. So I don't think there's just gonna be any chances really for Sweden to take here unless something unlucky happens to Malaysia. Like imagine if someone overholds an LN, which I don't think is gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Yeonhong did pick up a 200 at the end, but yeah, minor dent in Malaysia's 4th-point match point to them, as well as Leon picks up a V1SS and Lemmy as well. Very commendable.
Yeah, the ratio in tournament count from Johnny was unfortunately Sweden's undoing. Honestly speaking, like the top two of Sweden is slightly better than the top two of Malaysia's, but that's just not going to be enough, unfortunately. That was
36
indeed very
points between Tosa and Yeondrakon. It was 1-300 actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's very unfortunate, but hey, 4-1. If you look at this in a different way, this is only one breakpoint.
Yeah. But we'll see what Sweden have to go for. This could be their last pick. The Rise hasn't worked.
Yeah, that really hasn't.
I'm thinking hybrid, yeah. I'm really thinking hybrid. Like, at this point, I don't think it's far-fetched anymore.
I think Hybrid 1 and then Hybrid 2 has to be the path Sweden takes, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Malaysia, they have to avoid Sencon or Flare, in my opinion. Those thrills don't seem to be friendly to Malaysia. I don't know, just the way I see it.
You know, speaking of which, do you think Sweden could go for Rise 2?
No, they should not. Because you've tried rice pick after rice pick and it hasn't worked. So you might as well reserve the rice picks for Malaysia and pick something else.
Oh
Because
my
if you're-
gosh. It's Rise
What?
3! None
This-
of the maps that we were talking about. They're just going to try another roll of the dice with Tech. That's the 3rd Tech Rise map they've picked. I mean, you know the saying, third time's the charm. We'll see if this could work. If it doesn't, it's game, set, match.
The problem with the saying third time's the charm is that third time really has to be the charm this time around. Because if there's no more because there's no more chances after that if Sweden loses this pick. So Sweden, I think, is probably debating whether or not to go with Trimatic or with Venyas. Venyas has been consistent, okay? But that accuracy really has to be fixed. So I think they gotta take a gamble here with Trimatic. Because honestly, Malaysia, I don't know. I just think they gotta take a gamble because I understand that you want to be safe and you want to hopefully get something out of it, right? But at the end of the day, if you're not taking any risks or gambles, you're not gonna be able to succeed really in this tournament. I think you really have to take a risk or two here.
Yeah, this is a big risk as well, because if this risk fails, it's Malaysia's 5th point. But at this point, you just have to give that dice a roll. Waiting for the 3rd player for Sweden. And it is going to be Venyas.
So they're going for the full combo, I think. But the problem is, if Venyas drops, it's kind of game over because accuracy really hasn't been friendly towards Sweden in this regard.
And it's also a very short map, 1 minute 43 seconds.
It's a very risky pick, I agree. But you kind of gotta take risks. Only problem, you gotta pick the right risks to take. I don't think this is the right risk. But let's see.
We shall see indeed. Will this be Malaysia's crowning moment in the match, or will Sweden fight back and try and mount a miracle?
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem. Right now, accuracy, you have seen the entire time. You cannot beat Malaysia on accuracy. And here's the point, like, look at Venyas. Again, accuracy is slightly behind. But wait a second, Ice Defy, I think, rushed a lot of 300s there, so that accuracy isn't too far off. I don't know who has the lead right now. It's just back and forth, but judging off face value, it does look like Malaysia has a very slight advantage. The mini jacks, though.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
I think so too. Like, Lemmy is cancelling out J-Lai, Yeonhong's cancelling out Yeondrakon. It's just the accuracy between Ice Defy and Venyas being the difference.
Here's the problem though. We've seen Neon J-Con drop on a few crucial sections on the previous maps. Yonhong dropping a bit, but that's not gonna matter too much in the big scale of things, because Ice Defy has increased at accuracy. Yonhong has to keep dropping. These drills haven't been friendly to Yonhong the entire match. And now mini jacks are coming. This is where the chokes could probably come into play, but it does not look like it's gonna happen.
Now, Venyas has also been struggling a little bit, 99.7 now, and quite consistent in that mark.
Yeah, and now here's the
Right.
final section.
Yeah, there's still quite a few choke points left as Lemmy picks up a 200.
No drops
That might
from
be it.
Malaysia at all. I think that's it. 6-way FC for the lobby again.
Wow.
I wow, these two teams have been so consistent. And so we're seeing 1, 2, and 4. Those are the only 200 counts that we're going to be seeing in the entire lobby. As we see a 2-way double S for Malaysia. V1 double S, that is. Very good performances from both teams, but like Malaysia was just the better team. And I think that's really what pulled them to win here.
Yep, GG. Sweden definitely pulled up a pretty good fight. There are some team scores there would be pretty scary for whoever's going to face them, which I'm going to actually check who's going to face them. But also, congratulations to Malaysia for moving on to the round 16 winners bracket.
Okay, so Malaysia-Sweden, that is match number 4. So they'll be facing...
Malaysia versus China. Next
So it's
to
Malaysia versus China, you're saying?
Sweden versus Finland. Oh, that's going to be a banger.
Okay. Oh my goodness, Sweden and Finland. That is gonna be massive. I think these two matches could really be good. Man, I'm so excited to see what next weekend has to prepare. But we still have one more match after this. And by the way, as for the Russia-Spain match, I think it's Russia 5, Spain 1.
That is correct. It just ended as well. 5-1 in favor of the Russian Federation, which also means that we only have one match remaining, and it will be on this stream, Brazil versus Italy, to close out what has been a pretty exciting round of 32.
It has been. There's been a lot of surprises this weekend, like closer matches that some people haven't really expected to be close. And I hope that this next match also is going to be a close one between Brazil and Italy. I can see this match going the distance should Italy perform much better than expected. But at the end of the day, I just really think this match could be a good one if, again, both teams perform very well. Do you have anything to say? And you can close this out for us?
Yeah, one last thing for me for the round of 32. Get your banners well, I'm not sure when they end. They probably end at like Grand Finals weekend, but that also means that you have a lot of time to get as many banners as you can.
Indeed. Thanks so much for having us on the stream. We all hope that you enjoyed this set of matches that was at this hour. And see you in around 21 minutes for Brazil versus Italy to end this weekend.
Truth be told, it's a lonely road. Chasing your dreams and all that we are and could ever be is within our reach.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Mania World Cup 2024. This is our last match of the bracket. We have Brazil versus Italy, and this seeding is very close. I would like to imagine, based on other matches we've seen in this bracket, that we could probably get some really close points in this matchup. I'm, of course, Eliminate, joined here by Silhouesca Ellis. How are you doing?
Doing fine. I mean, honestly speaking, 12 and 21 aren't that close, but I can see where you're coming from. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Like, seem to be very energetic for this match.
Yeah, although the seeding numbers may not be as close, when you take a look at the qualifier scores, some of these, if we look at Rice, for example, it's only like a few numbers apart. So I think the difference between 12 and 21 here, should not be undervalued.
That's true. I mean, like, when it comes to experience, I think Brazil still has it. Like, I think Natalina has played a couple of tournaments. Naomi Bunny was a part of 4DM, I think, for a few iterations. Miriki, I've seen Miriki play in the scrimmage match against the Philippines, actually, and seemed to do really well in that. And of course, the core three of Netro, Limarcino, and Fangirl. We already know how experienced you are. As for Italy, so we have Saimo, I think that's how I pronounce it, and then you have Veri. Like, those two, you've seen them play a lot of tournaments already for MWC. As for Angela, Anthony, Ether Diamond, and Reagan, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't exactly know too much other than I know Angela and Anthony performed super well in 4DM. So, like, this Italy team is no slouch as well.
Yeah, and Brazil getting seeded, I believe it was 6th last year, correct me if I'm wrong. But then coming all the way down to 12, I think it was on the back of losing one of their good players, Demi. Very, very, very good LN player and accuracy player overall as well. But they've still got, I would argue, one of their stronger core rosters. So things are still able to happen for this team, and I can definitely see them progressing a little bit far down the bracket. Now, the really unfortunate thing is the winner of this match has to face Chile, arguably much stronger than ever this year. So
Yeah, to correct you on that, by the way, Brazil seeded 5th, so it wasn't that far of a difference. Indonesia was seeded 6th last year, actually. Here's the thing, though, like, you did mention about jumps. It's kind of funny you mentioned that, because both teams, like Indonesia and Brazil, did drop off quite a bit on this tournament. So Italy's banning LN1. I'm not surprised because, man, so many teams have banned LN1. I just wanted to point that out.
Like, this is a pick that's been barely chosen all throughout this round. And honestly, a very good ban
For Italy, I'd say, because that's the one that I think Brazil really has it on the bag.
As for Brazil banning SV2, kind of ironic because Brazil, like if you were to look at the qualifiers, Brazil did seed number 12 and Italy seed. Wait, sorry, my bad. I was looking at the overall results.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brazil was number 3 on SV, and Italy was down at 29. So that's kind of a weird ban for Brazil.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that ban as well, but maybe they just didn't have enough people to practice it this round. We can't really say for sure, but yes, Italy banning LN1, that map being a lot more release-oriented. I can definitely see some people choking on that with the accuracy side of things, but Italy wasting no time, going straight into their race 1, which I do believe this match will be Italy picking race versus Brazil going into the LNs. I think hybrids are way too much of a middle ground for anyone to really want to pick.
I actually don't like this pick from Italy. Out of all of the rices that Italy,
Okay, so out of all of the races that Italy had to choose from, this is probably the worst one. Because I think Biao Bai, I'm sorry for not being able to pronounce it right. Or let's just say rice one, fine, okay. Out of all of the picks here, I think Brazil's most comfortable skill set is speed. Especially for players like Netro and Marcinho, they're known to be really good at hacking those. As for Miwiki being in, I'm not exactly too sure why they would put in Miwiki, but I think they're going for accuracy route instead of consistency, which I think is a good strategy. And as for Italy, so we have Veri, Simo, and Angela. Angela's very good at speed, so I understand why they're here.
Yeah, I will have to agree with you there. I'm not too sure if this is Italy's best pick versus Brazil. When you take into consideration that in the qualifiers, Rice 3 being more speed-oriented in most sections, and Brazil got actually their highest seed on this map in the qualifiers. So, yeah, I'm not too sure, but maybe Italy can really pull something out the hat here, and maybe they've practiced it a lot, or maybe they just feel really confident on these speed type of maps.
okay, we'll have to see first though. So, now, the problem that, again, I don't
know what to feel about this pick just yet. So at the very start, like you're greeted with some cookie cutter, pretty easy speed sections, which should really throw off most teams. But as I say that, my bad, very fine to drop. I mean, this part is very awkward, so you can't really blame anyone for finding a few drops here.
Yeah, it is way too early on to really say that that's the end of the match right there based on that one miss, but it's a very, it's a very weird part to miss on, I would say, especially when the entire map is mostly consistently the same speed, and it doesn't really change much from this. It's just consistent rolls and streams back and forth, and everyone here looks to be super consistent. Everyone is above 99.8 besides Very on the back of that miss.
I think Very got a few greats or even goods on that one section. So that's gonna increase lead for Brazil just a little bit. But this is not gonna be a lot because I really think this is, like what you said, it's not the end of it. It's way too early to call that. Because this speed section is gonna go for another run of being very difficult. You can see some of those anchors there, very uncomfortable to hit, and I think Brazil really has it nailed down, but Italy is already starting to be more consistent now. And look at Simo, like Simo does have the best act in the entire lobby with the speed section, so that's gonna be some good news, but Brazil have to find drops now.
Oh, Very with, another miss later down the line. That's a really bad place to miss, especially with all that combo they had, and just as they were bringing things back, that's going to give Brazil another massive lead of another extra 8,000 points, and Very with another miss towards the end. There's really just not enough time for Brazil to fumble this map. I think Brazil taking the first breakpoint on a map like this, as we were saying, I mean, Netro finding the miss towards the end, but it's not going to mean anything. As we were saying, Brazil, I think this is probably one of their stronger rice picks versus Italy, and we were questioning that at the very start, and I think we were very much right to do so.
Ratio-wise, Italy does beat Brazil. Something tells me various misses were keyboard misses. I won't be surprised if that's the case. Because if we were to look at it, those misses weren't super dirty at all. So I have a feeling they could have been they really could have been keyboard misses. I won't be surprised if that's the case. But then again, look at the ratios that Italy and Brazil have. Italy is actually slightly ahead in comparison to Brazil, I'd guess at least. But then Brazil having only 1 200 throughout the entire team. I think Italy actually also has only 1 200. So very impressive as to how close this is.
Yeah, I mean, just ratio alone, it was. I didn't really do the math, but I think it was around about 10 perfects of a difference. If you add all the perfects up, it was very close. I do think Brazil may have taken that point regardless because of most of the misses, especially the one that got at the very start. But still, that on race 1 of all race maps can really show what Italy is capable of, and I do believe they're probably still going to keep picking into these race maps.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brazil has to answer with LN2. LN2 is a favorite for a lot of these LN2s. What?
Whoa!
No way.
Brazil picking race 2. This is pretty unexpected, I'd have to say. This may be more picking into Italy. I'm not too sure if Brazil just want to pick rice for this entire match, or maybe just because they want to keep the ball rolling after race 1 and just go straight into race 2. I'm not too sure.
I don't like this pick. Simply because I know Brazil probably thinks, okay, they have the accuracy advantage. I won't be surprised if that's the case. But they were literally a couple of misses away from them losing that point. I mean, Netro did miss at the very end, so had that happened, it would have been Italy's point. So I think they're trying to risk it. And I did say in the previous match that taking risks is very important. But taking the right risks is something that you gotta consider. I don't think this is the right risk to take.
Yeah, and I hate to base everything off qualifiers, but it's the only thing we really have, right? But when you look at the LN seedings, you can really see that Brazil are generally just much higher. Even in the hybrids as well, hybrid 1, they got over 20,000 score advantage over Italy in these maps, so it would seem like a no-brainer to me to pick into LN. But race 2 it is. I guess maybe we'll see if they played their cards correctly here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very risky pick, and I like risks. But risks have to be chosen. What in the world just happened?
Maybe
Oh? No, that's not...
What?
Okay, they're gonna ask for a abort. They're gonna ask for an abort, I'm very sure.
Yeah, I think they're just typing just now.
They're typing the word abort. Well, right now, Italy does have a 120,000 point advantage. And unless the whole team of Italy misses 1,000 times, I don't think it's gonna be possible for Brazil to catch up.
Yeah, no, this seems pretty winnable for Brazil. 200,000 point disadvantage in the first quarter of the map. But yeah, no, Netro, I'm not really too sure what happened there. Did it looked to me like a keyboard issue, but maybe it was lag or something of the sort.
Yeah, it was a lag spike. Very unfortunate. And honestly, yeah, this is unfortunate. But it happens.
Yep, we'll just get a replay and pretend nothing ever happened. I do believe that everyone on both sides there did have a pretty strong start, holding their accuracies high. Let's just hope that they can do that again, because this map, 2 minutes 37 seconds, and it's consistent jump stream. Now 2 minutes 37 seconds, you may not think, okay, a lot of stamina maps tend to be over 3 minutes, but when you have something of this BPM with pretty much no breaks, right? That could be really draining, especially in an MWC setting where nerves play a factor. You tend to drain more stamina in that sense as well. So, you know, you'd like to hope that these people can still maintain that stamina. This is more of a consistency pick as well.
Well, we'll have to see first. I mean, yeah, consistency is key. But I don't know. Again, I just feel like this is a very risky pick that Brazil is going for. And I'm not sure if this is a good risk to take.
Yeah, LN might seem more appropriate for the team, but Rise 2 ultimately has been chosen, and all players off to a pretty chill start. Very does drop a 200, it appeared to be right there. But, you know, the score seems very unfazed, because it does get traded back by Limercinho.
Yeah, I mean, Simo has deepest attack in the lobby, and Very, I think, definitely has the chance to increase that. The thing is, like, Miwiki is performing extremely well in the act, but you can see it start to dropping off. Meanwhile, Very, Anthony, and Simo are starting to increase. This is exactly why I didn't like this pick.
Yeah, the map is 2.5 minutes long though, and just based on this part alone, we can see that the ratio is so very much balanced. This is definitely a risk to take from Brazil, and I'm sure they knew that as well. But they're most likely relying on the fact that this map is a stamina map.
Well, what I don't like about this part, okay? What I don't like about this pick is, again, they're putting themselves in a very risky position this early on. And when this could have been something like Italy's pick right now. But then, Brazil does have the accuracy advantage. This is off of Very and Anthony only being around Limercinho's act, while Netro and Miwiki are clearly ahead of the both of them. Simo's act alone is just not going to be enough to override. But then again, there's a lot of one-handed chills here, which could make anyone drop a single point, a single miss, or like drop a lot of 200s.
Yeah, and for Brazil, Very finding that miss right as I was about to say. This match is very close. So Brazil choosing potentially an optimal pick for them. I'm not too sure if optimal is the right word, but all they need to do right now is just combo the rest of the map. That one miss alone is enough for Brazil to take the point away. As long as they can all hold on to that combo, there's really not much left of the map into the last section. Can they hold on? Do they have enough stamina? Will they choke?
I don't think so, unless Netro does the same thing that happened in the previous map, which I highly doubt it will. And that's a 5-way full combo for the entire lobby. Very impressive work. Even if Very full combo, that would have not been enough. Like, Very would have needed a 990... 995, 996 to be safe. And had those 200s been gone, that would have been definitely possible. Look at that score from Simon. 94. 94 perfects. And not to mention, 2 V1 double S's from Brazil, only 1 200 for the entire team. That is very, very impressive.
Yeah, and I also want to say just how matched these ratios are. I mean, you have Netro versus Sibo, Very versus Miwiki, and Anthony versus Limercinho. These ratios are way too close for these Rice maps, and even though Very did find those misses, regardless of that, that map was still very close, like even with the misses. So Brazil definitely playing a scary game there to choose into that map, and Italy most likely going to choose another Rice map unless they want to experiment on maybe a hybrid, but I can't really see them choosing an LN here.
I don't think they're gonna go for SVs either. Even though Brazil banned an SV, going for SV1 I think is a very bad decision. Unless Italy practice it a lot and they're confident they can consistently perform in that. So I think their best choice is probably Rice, unfortunately. And they only have a few left. They gotta go for Rice. I actually think Rice 5, Rice 4 makes the most sense right now. I don't know. Oh, what? Wait.
Okay, SC1 being chosen, I think they are calling Brazil's bluff, sorry, potentially, with Brazil getting that really high seed in the SV qualifiers, but then banning SV2. Maybe Italy suspects that maybe they haven't put in a lot of practice. Maybe they're missing a player. Doesn't seem like they're missing a player. It looks like they've got everyone here. But banning SV2 definitely pretty wild of Brazil. So Italy maybe trying to capitalize on that fact.
Probably, I won't be surprised if that's the case, but I don't know, this is a very risky pick that they're going for. But I do like risks, and I think we gotta go for that, ultimately.
Yeah, I will say it is quite surprising that Italy did not choose Into the Right. It does seem like that they have more than enough potential to take points off Brazil as long as they manage to just FC, right? But sadly, these things happen and people choke, and ultimately that has cost them these points thus far. So maybe their confidence for Rice has dropped a little bit, so SV can take that back, I suppose.
I think they're going to... I think they're just gonna try and hope that their SVs well enough. But Natalinha is extremely competent in SVs. Same with Limarcinho. I mean, obviously. Like, we've known Limarcinho to be extremely good at SVs. I think it's just gonna be very risky if, let's say, they're going for a team that's seed number 3 on SVs. And I don't know. This is just not a good pick in my opinion.
Yeah, especially when you look at Brazil, this is the exact same roster that got seed 3 in the qualifiers, and you're willing to put yourself up for that to compete against the seed 3 on this map? Yeah, I'm not too sure either, but maybe they just feel like they're somewhat out of options after losing the first 2 Rice maps, and LN, LN is LN, right? So SV is, I would say, a huge gamble, but we can definitely see it happening depending on how much practice they may have put in here.
Yeah, maybe Italy is banking on the fact that they've maybe practiced this. And it does look like they have put in the time, but look at Anthony's score right now. That's not a good sign at all. Maybe it's just a bad rush at the start, because those do happen, especially with the nature of this map being slow jams and fast jams, if there's even a right term. But Limarcinho drops at the start. Okay.
A very early miss. Anthony's still finding more 200s. That's not going to matter when Marcinho misses this early on. Maybe this pick doesn't look so bad after all, but this is only the intro of the map, not even a quarter of the way through. So this 5,000 point advantage towards Italy might not seem like too much later down the line.
Yeah, but what is going on? Are we going for another award?
I'm not seeing much at least right now. We can't really comment. Okay, so no aborts are happening. Just really the client being the client. But Anthony trades that miss back. That's really unfortunate because I thought this was Italy's chance. But never mind then.
Yeah, I was convinced there for a moment that was a client miss, but no, it was in fact a miss from Anthony there. Also keeps dropping some 200s, but this score is just flickering back and forward. It's really unsure, but Simo finds that miss, and now that score lead is majorly favoring towards Brazil here, but only halfway through the map, Anthony with yet another miss. We're going to need to see more misses come up from Brazil here, but they seem way too confident on this map with a 99.8 from Silly Fangirl and 99.7 from Natalinha as well.
It's kind of weird that we're seeing Italy missing those sections because those are the easier parts of the file, but Limarcinho
Actually fighting a miss there. Once again, weird parts to miss because these are really just reading sections. These aren't parts where you gotta have to memorize, so that's a little bit weird, but 2 misses was on the Italy side, so Brazil has to miss once more for this lead to really go back to Italy.
Yeah, I will say that these scores that Lamborghini was showing is not indicative of how good they were playing in the qualifiers. So I would just have to say that these misses from all the players most likely are due to nerves here. But yeah, no, I mean, 15,000 point lead. That miss from Lamborghini did not really cost much. It was a very clean miss. We're going to need to see a collapse from Brazil for Italy to take this point.
Yeah, we'll have to see like an overhold on these LNs because I think that could be a possibility. What just happened to Anthony's screen?
Okay, I think the
Yeah.
map. Okay, I think the map already ended before that even happened. Okay, yeah. So that was just Anthony leaving the lobby very early. They already ended the match. So Italy did lose that. Anthony's score was 960 to 110.
Yeah, it was very
Just
close. Only the 18,000 point difference. I mean, it really was in the back of those misses. Italy could have capitalized on that, but unfortunately, you know, misses from both sides. But when you have two players on the Brazilian roster full comboing that versus Italy's one, what more can you really do? But yeah, SV, maybe not the strongest pick for Italy, but they've still got 3 rice maps left, so if they want to force a tiebreaker here, they would need to win on one of the hybrids or LNs.
Absolutely. I think Brain Razor Girl makes a lot of sense. Gotta go with this kind of pick. I would be surprised to see Nayoni. Yeah, there we go. Nayoni Bunny is really good at these LN picks. So yeah, very makes sense. I think Italy's gonna stick with very Simon and Angela maybe. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and you know, when you have a map like this map is more density focused in when you compare it to other LNs. Like for example, LN1, LN is definitely not density, that's more your release map. I think this map, more chokeable on the miss side of things, and Brazil, I think, much more comfortable on maps like this, where you just need to brute force that combo, and I mean, even accuracy, they have still got it as well, but the main factor here, I believe, will just be Italy missing on some of these parents. So I think for them, they would need to really lock in here.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think Elenak goes to Brazil, at least on face value. But maybe things can shake up. I mean, we did see SV actually being a possibility for Italy to take.
Yeah, I guess this one map right here will determine if Italy even want to consider choosing LNs or hybrids in the future, depending on how the scores compare at the end. But I still think that Rice was their closest. Oh, and Angela really fumbling that intro there.
If there's any place to miss, though, it's gotta be that intro and not like at the middle sections. So we're seeing a team of Lemarcino, Netro, and Nayoni Bunny, like I said a while ago. You can expect this to be the team that they're gonna send for probably the early game LNs, and probably still Fangirl for some of this. Because those 4 have the good capability to play these maps. As for Italy, though, it seems to be a 3rd player thing. Like Angela is already sort of struggling, at least compared to the other players that are in the lobby.
Yeah, Angela has recovered quite a lot. They did drop. I don't know how many misses they dropped at the intro, but it just seems like they just entirely pressed the wrong keys at the start and really lost so much accuracy. And that's already given Brazil 12,000 point lead. But I do believe Brazil have the accuracy advantage regardless. All 3 players above Italy's highest accuracy player here. So maybe LN not the strongest for Italy, but all it takes is Brazil to have a choke, as we were saying before this map started. That is really all it takes.
Yeah, it does. It is gonna take a lot of mistakes from Brazil, and we're gonna have some sort of 3-column LNs in a bit. Oh, I think we already got past that. Never mind. But as I was saying, and as you were saying as well, it's gonna take a few mistakes from the Brazil side for this lead to even shift. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Brazil has always been a consistent LN performer. Not to mention Italy's accuracy being already lower than any Brazilian player.
Yeah, this is really a showing from Brazil here, and this just goes to show, like, why did they not pick LN to begin with, you know? These scores very dominant, but I suppose maybe they just didn't feel so comfortable. Maybe they just felt really good after playing that Rice one, but regardless, a 20,000 point lead from Brazil here. Very, very comfortable score lead. I wouldn't even look at their ratios. My god, these ratios so very clean from Brazil here, and very close to triple V1SS.
Yeah, very close indeed. I think Italy has to go for Rice 5 or Rice 4. I think that's really the only realistic choice right now because LNAC seems to be a little bit far behind what Brazil has in store. I mean, Simo does have the ratio to match up with them, but the opponent count certainly is not there. I think it's got to be Rice 4 or Rice 5 at this point.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Race 3. When you look at Race 1 and Race 2, they're both very stream-oriented, so maybe they want to just take a risk, maybe just gamble on the Race 3 where it's more Jack-heavy, supposedly, and Italy may have an advantage there.
Alright, yeah, we just gotta wait and see. I really think it's Rice 4 or 5, and your guess is Rice 3. I mean, neither one of those makes sense. I just don't see it being the hybrids.
Yeah, no, I think hybrid is way too up in the air. And Race 5, it is, you were indeed correct there. Hallucinate. This is more of a dump stream oriented map here. And I will say it is probably very similar to Race 1 in the fact that it's very streamy, but this one isn't as intense. So maybe we can get some more accuracy from Italy here, and as we did see in those other maps, Italy are very matched with Brazil on the ratio side of things on these Rice maps, so maybe this is Italy's best pick here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Rice 5 is the best pick that they have out of all of them. But Italy hasn't been the most consistent either.
I mean, just in the back of ratios alone, this map is probably, I would argue, is easier than Race 1 and Race 2. And especially with the jacks in between the streams, gives the players somewhat of a break. And, you know, coming from a jack main, I would say that's free ACK as well. I think Italy have got a pretty good chance, to be honest.
I think so, but they gotta be careful still.
At the end of the day, it's all about combo. Any one miss can really sway it back and forth to any team here. And the scoreline is 4-0 to Brazil. It does feel like it's been a lot closer than that, with especially the ratio, the accuracy alone.
Well, do I agree they have the act to match Brazil? I mean, again, I don't know. I just think it's very risky. Not to mention, so they're putting in Miwiki, Silifangirl, Netro. This team is gonna be very good accuracy-wise and consistency-wise, I guess. I think Italy is trying to target the third player of Brazil here, which is Miwiki, and I won't be surprised if they're doing so. But Italy's gotta try to regroup and be more consistent than what they used to be.
Yeah, and I do believe this is also Silly Fangirl's first time coming in for the Rice maps. So I guess we will see how he can perform with the ratio and accuracy difference that we got from, I believe it was Limarcinho. So I would say that's pretty hard to match. Limarcinho is a pretty good Rice player.
Right, we'll have to see first. I mean, it's true that Limarcinho is very, very skilled Rice player, but if Brazil is going for consistency, I think this is the best lineup that they can put in. Like, the good thing about Brazil is they have like players that they can swap in for picks that they could be afraid to be consistent in, and this is one of them. Very good structure in that regard. As for Italy though, it seems like they gotta stick to this lineup for the most part, or maybe have Anthony sub in for some of these.
Yeah, this is the very intro of the map right before we get into the stream section. Here it goes. This is where the map really begins, and besides these little jack sections in between, this is really what most of the map has to offer here. So we can already see that Brazil have the early ratio advantage. So we will probably see some 200s dropped from both teams here. This is really not giving you a clear image of who's going to take this point. It's still very close.
I think slight advantage goes to Brazil, actually, because Brazil has like 2 players that are very close to the 99.9 range. In fact, they are already on that. As for Italy, it's only Very who does beat every player in the lobby right now, but if both Angela and Simo are in that 99.8 range, it's just not gonna be enough.
250 points. This is only a few perfects of a difference here. This is nothing halfway through the map. We still have another minute left to go of these same patterns. This part is a really rolly, streamy section. Probably maybe one of the harder parts of the map to get good ag on. And all players seem to be hitting it comfortably.
Yeah, and well, let's see if anyone hits this comfortably. I don't think it's gonna be the case because this part's really hard, but never mind. I guess you are right. Imagine. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Like
Very
that part,
this right after.
you cannot blame anyone for dropping in that section. Like that part is really difficult to hit for anyone. And right now, while Brazil does have the lead, this is still not safe. So many anchors, so many technical patterns. Anyone can find drops here. But I think even if, let's say, Very hit that, Angela dropped quite a bit of accuracy, which is already behind Brazil. So that's really bad already as a sign in general. And I think if Brazil doesn't make any more mistakes, I think they're gonna take this again.
Yeah, all players managing to combo the ending, and I would say that the ending is probably maybe one of the hardest sections of the map, especially when you're going into it with a full combo. It does feel very technical, but Very with the one miss, I'm not too sure who would have even won that. The ratios were so close. I think Very did have a few more 200s versus Silly Fangirls only 1 200, so maybe have went to Brazil either way, but still would have been very, very close.
Unfortunate, but Italy had the accuracy to match Brazil. So I think any team that should be facing Italy would definitely be terrified of how like that team performs as a Rise team. Like, okay, let's look at the bracket. So let's see who Italy faces. So Italy is match 8, and they're gonna be facing New Zealand. Okay, both teams seem to be good at Rise, I think. So that's gonna be a challenging match for both teams.
Yeah, and if we look at the winners bracket side of things, Brazil moving onward to face Chile in the round of 16. Very scary matchup there.
Indeed. Honestly, both teams did very well. Same with the rest of the teams that played, because this is the final match after all. I mean, every team did well, and just showed to us why this is the Mania World Cup. And like, they definitely performed so well. Like, it's just baffling to me that even the lower seeded teams are like extremely good at skill sets now and just have accuracy and even to an extent consistency. But there's a reason why the top seeds are top seeds, and they just really are the cream of the crop in terms of consistency, versatility, and many other factors.
Yeah, and just looking at this bracket, some of these matchups do look pretty scary, and I would even say, from a viewer standpoint, look pretty entertaining, and I would most certainly watch some of these matches. I mean, with Philippines, Japan, for example, you have Thailand, Hong Kong. Now, I mean, seed 3 versus what, seed 12?
I think it's 14.
Like
I might be wrong.
But-
I think it's 14. Seed 3, seed 14.
But when you look at like the Rice capability as well, it really does not seem that far apart. So definitely some really interesting matches that I would stick forward for in the round of 16.
And honestly, can we take a look at the losers bracket? Because I think even there are some really good matches there. If we could even have a look at how the losers bracket are. But so far, from what I've seen, some of the more interesting losers bracket matches could be, I don't know, okay, maybe Finland, Sweden, I think. And then there's also Peru, Mexico. Honestly, all the matches are just interesting in their own way. I will just leave it at that.
Yeah, and that will be the last match of this round of 32. Next up in, I believe it's about half an hour, we have the map pool showcase. So very soon. Don't go anywhere. I mean, with that being said, 30 minutes. Is there anything left to say, Siluesca, maybe?
I mean, all I gotta say is I'm really happy to have seen everyone play so well. I mean, it's the spirit of the Mania World Cup, just proving that everyone really is there to give their best shot at whatever is thrown at them. That's all really for me. So you could close this out for us.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, so much for watching. And 30 minutes from now, make sure to come back for the map pool showcase, where we will see the round of 16 map pool, and stats will be released shortly afterwards. So we'll see you then, guys. Take care.
Alrighty, welcome back to some more Osimania 4Key World Cup 2024 action. We finished off all of our round of 32 matches, so we've just got one more thing left to do, and that's going to be our round of 16 map pool showcase. All 32 teams make it to round of 16, so all 32 teams still in the tournament will get a chance to play against another team using the upcoming pool. But before that, I'll introduce myself. I'm Toph Daddy, one of your commentators, joined here yet again by Dynascape. How's it going?
It's going great as usual, Toph. And as the stakes get higher and we move into the round of 16, the difficulty also goes higher as well. So let's go ahead and check out the first map in the round of 16 pool.
Absolutely. We're going to be starting off in the same order as we always do with Rice 1. It's going to be The Night Away. Good Day, Good Night difficulty by Hyalotl here. 2 minutes 40 seconds, 320 BPM streams. And technically it says 160, but you already know that when it comes to streams, that means 320 BPM, OD8, HP8, and a pretty straightforward map in general. I mean, we saw something similar come out of Rice 1 before. It's got those dump stream patterns, and there are a few implied mini jacks throughout, but there's just 2 mainstream sections, and then the rest of it is a little bit of a cooldown section.
Yeah, I think that, the BPM hasn't really changed too much. And also, if you notice in this first real, little stream section, the snappings are very, very not close together. They're 1/5 and 1/6 at the densest. But I think that's really traded out by the amount of one-handed trills in this little section. And of course, once you really get into that song intensity, the bursts get way closer and they top out at around 1/8 over here. And yeah, you can see the patterning is much more difficult than last rounds and also a lot more fast.
Yeah, as I mentioned, a few implied mini jacks throughout the stream, so gotta make sure that you're keeping focus. But for the most part, the patterns themselves are relatively smooth outside of those specific instances. But the real issue with this is going to be how long these streams will last, because it is just a straight up stream like that. But this first one going to be a little bit shorter, give you a break. But the second stream that comes up, you'll get like 40 seconds of a break here, and then it'll just go straight from the next part to the end, and you won't get a break after that.
Exactly, and in the back half, it's a lot more intense as well. In the first part of the song, like I said, the snappings were about 1/5, 1/6, but as you transition out of this break section, it goes right into what it ended off in before the break section. So you get, those 1/6, we get those 1/8, and it gets really fast, really quick.
Yeah, it certainly does. A little bit of a long note, and it just transitions right into the 1/8, like we said. So no little transition period. The 1/5 and 1/6 will be a very similar structure to how we saw in the first chorus. But like I said, this one's going to last a lot longer. It doesn't just take the chorus into account. There is a little bit of a section afterwards that keeps those vocals going, and the streams continue after that. So it might be actually a little bit of a surprise, or one of those things that could definitely cause stamina issues, especially after coming out of the first chorus. You're like, oh, the stream should end, and then it doesn't. So you kind of have to keep your hands going.
Yeah, and also there's just not a lot of fluff in the map. You do get that break section at the start, but I mean, you can see how long this second stream pattern has been going for, essentially a little bit under half of the map, and it's just so intense. It's really funny when a song is super chill, but then the streams are very intense, but it's just the way it goes sometimes. So that was Rice 1, the streams map, the Night Away map by Hilotl. Let's go ahead and see what we have for Rice 2. That's going to be Spiral of Erebos, mapped by Lemon Guy, I think at a 1.05 rate, yep, which clocks in at around 235 jump stream.
Indeed, and I mean, it's Lemon Guy Jump Stream. We've seen lots of Lemon Guy Jump Stream over the years, and this is basically exactly what you'd expect. It's got a lot of anchory patterns throughout the entire map. It's got trills, it's got anchors, it's just got relatively difficult patterns, which, we've only increased the BPM by 10. Last round's Jump Stream pick was 225. This one jumped by about 10. Not only, we keep all 32 teams, so it's not going to be a huge jump, but the patterns in this are also notably more difficult than what we were seeing in round of 32.
Oh, for sure. You get about 50 seconds of fluff at the start. So really this map could be considered about 2 minutes and 40-ish seconds. But then you get into the jump stream and you can already tell that the density is quite high. There's doubles about every other note in its most dense sections while maintaining a very large amount of trills.
Yeah, this is just kind of how the structure is going to go for the rest of the chart there. It also does not stop anymore. You get the 50 seconds-ish of fluff right at the beginning, but that's about all of the break you'll get. So the 2 minutes and 45 seconds, despite having that kind of that difficult drain time being a little shorter than expected, it's still quite stamina draining because there isn't any stoppage in the motion.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it should be noted that it's only about an 11 BPM jump. Last round was 224, but I really do think that it is traded out by the patterning from round to round. And I mean, with the switch up in patterning, I do think that there's going to be a lot more drops than we saw on Senko No Flare, because honestly, too many players were way too comfortable with it. And so with round of 16, we decided to give you guys something just a little bit harder.
Yeah, definitely got to push that difficulty a little bit. This is an elimination round for 16 teams. 8 of the 16 teams in losers bracket will be eliminated before having their chance to make it to quarterfinals. So increasing that difficulty, making sure the right players are in and we get the right teams into that quarterfinals round is very important. That difficulty jump just very noticeable from the patterning. And something else very important to note about this map, it does stay relatively consistent throughout most of it, but we're getting into this ending where those anchors start to increase in length. You can already see like 4 or 5 note anchors in this section alone, and on top of that, the transition into the next section adds very long one-hand trills, which can, when you're already suffering in stamina, are going to be brutal to keep yourself together on.
Yeah, some of those outer column anchors are very long. You can already see here. It's quite disgusting how many trills you really have to go for in this map. And I mean, I think that in round of 16, you start to get a couple of teams where, you know, they can't really field a third player that can comfortably FC some of these more straightforward picks, and you'll kind of see them shy away from things like this. So Rice 1, Rice 2 really deceiving, I believe, in this round, because this is where the script kind of changes for a lot of teams, and you can't really go for, or at least feel very comfortable on these 2 first maps.
Yeah, I do think that they're going to be some of the more straightforward ones still. I still think Rice 2 is going to be quite popular, especially with those high-seeded, accuracy-heavy teams, but I wouldn't be surprised to see teams starting to really struggle on maps like this, especially stamina-wise.
Oh, for sure. That's going to do it for the jump stream pick. That was Spiral Erebos by Lemon Guy. Let's head in to Rice 3. And it's going to be Reiwa, map by Alexire. This is the Korjak map, and we finally get to see a little bit of Korjak in the Mania 4K World Cup, and see how this goes. It's 140 BPM, and it's also very, very fun as a map, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jax. I think a lot of people really love Jax. We had a little bit of that kind of introduction from Rice 5 from the round of 32, where even though it was largely a technical map, it did have some Korjak-y elements in it that the players had to deal with. Now we get full focus on Korjaks, though. We've seen historically that some of these Korjak maps are like stamina, or it's just constant Korjaks, but this one focuses a lot more heavily on difficult Korjak patterns, but in smaller bursts. So you never have a stream of Korjaks in this map that lasts more than a couple measures. There's one in the second half that does get a little bit longer, and that's going to be, I think, a point of real interest to look out for. But other than that, it's just difficult patterns very quickly, on and off.
Yeah, and in that first section, there were a lot of awkward lead-ins into those Jack sections, and also, not to mention that 3-note anchored Jack section as well. But, I mean, you'll see here that, you know, once you get into the more straightforward chord Jacks, there are some, you know, a decent number of surprises, even some quads thrown in there, which is something you don't really see a lot in the round of 16, and there's a lot more to come in the back half. I think the density gets upped by just a little bit, which I should probably mention that there's a high variance in the density in that first half. You know, you have a lot of single mini jacks, but then you have the quads thrown in, and, you know, switching between doubles and triples. It's quite a lot to go through.
Indeed, and this is where those longer Korjak sections start to come out. We're seeing them last about a measure now instead, and keeping with the difficult patterns, just keeps on going there. You get a little bit of a stoppage there, and we'll get into a repeat of one of the earlier sections.
Yeah, and again, this map, about 2 minutes and 44 seconds, but a lot of it, you know, are starts and stops in between, a lot of lighter jack sections, but really it's kind of just the intro to Korjaks. Kind of what you have to do in the round of 16 is kind of ease everyone into it. So, I mean, I think Reiwa is a really good choice for people that are, like you said, Toph, very Rice-Ack oriented. And, I mean, it's such a straightforward map and skill set that it's usually sink or swim. Either you can do this and you can over 990 it, or you can't.
Absolutely, and that's just kind of how Korjaks work. But I figure 140 BPM is going to be in that range of very comfortable for a lot of the players in this tournament. that's going to do it for Rice 3. We'll be moving into our first of 3 tech picks here. Rice 4, Nightmare Bula Facet on 1.1x rate, up to 187 BPM by Shoegazer. This is going to be a relatively well-known chart, especially for some players who might have been, seen, say, soft when that was still running. This was used there, but it is going to take the Jack Tech spot here. And this map is actually pretty interesting. It's relatively light overall. There's not too many really difficult patterns, but when they do happen, they happen at 187 BPM, and that is not easy to be consistent on.
Exactly. I'm really glad you mentioned the Jack Tech. I think that's a really good way of categorizing this map. Pretty much the main bulk of the difficulty is going to come in those 187 doubles. They're so close together, and at some points, they are quite extended as well. Some weird anchors thrown in there. So, I mean, Bula Facet is very much a devastating pick for people that don't really have that Jack speed. And I think also it kind of leads into the conversation of this map can be very chokeable for sure.
Yeah, and there's one pattern particularly at the end that does actually push some very difficult coordination with these mini jacks. He gets a slight bit denser here, a few rough patterns just to finish it out. I can see so many teams choking in this ending.
Yeah, the burst transitions really don't help with it as well, because, I mean, when you have to go into this map with the mindset of, oh, it's a Jack-centric map, and then you suddenly have these very, very fast 1/8 bursts, it becomes a deadly nightmare for people that just are not expecting it. And, I mean, pretty light intro or outro, and also the map isn't too long, so you don't have to suffer through it for that much time, but it is very much just a challenge for those 1 minute and 46 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, 1 minute 46 seconds has so much risk tied to it as well, because 1 miss is going to lose you so much score. But still, that's going to be our first tech pick. We'll move into Rice 5 now, and this is going to be Supernova by Meowrichesu. And this is going to be closer to kind of a mixed bag. This will be not necessarily straightforward, but it's dumpy. It's got some Jack patterns as well. It'll be kind of like that in-between zone of, Jack-heavy motion patterns and still needing to deal with the streams and dump bursts, in between everything.
Yeah, it's that one pick in the pool where it's kind of just like vocal dump, and then they have jacks to the percussion. And I think Meowrichesu really does a good job with this song and this map. And not to mention, Meowrichesu works really quick. This is a K-pop song, the first K-pop song that we have in MWC 2024. This song only came out 3 months ago, so the fact that he puts out such a polished product in such a quick amount of time is insane to me.
Yeah, absolutely. This map also a little bit on the short side, 1 minute and 53 seconds. You get that big chorus where those anchor patterns come to kind of interrupt the dump bursts, and that does happen again in the last chorus as well, but we'll have a little bit of an interlude with some different types of patterns there. More core jack focus, still has a few bursts, but definitely brings that core jack focus back into view.
Yeah, and I would probably say that the jacks are very straightforward in the sense that you always expect it when the percussion comes on or when you have an extended jack section. It really is just kind of dealing with the intertwining of the vocal dump as well as the jack, which is really the point of this pick. There's not too many notes to deal with, so kind of like the last map, it's a bit scary if you are picking this map because there's still a little bit of a chokeable factor in it, and if you do miss, that's a huge loss of points to your team.
Absolutely, but that is going to just about finish off our 5th Rice pick, and we've just got one left to round out our Rice pool for round 16 here.
Yeah, this one is pretty special. A lot of you will know it. It is /A/ by High 19. I think there is a little bit of an edit to it. Could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Toph. But I mean, very much a map that so many people know.
Hey, it's Cordman. That was the first note I had when I saw this in the pool. I think people are going to be very comfortable with maps like this. This is definitely the most straightforward of the tech picks in this pool. There are some awkward bursts, but for the most part, it's just some long jacks and some broken jump stream. That jack is really funny. It is only at 130 BPM, so I think it shouldn't be too big of an issue for most of the players, but that is still quite a funny introduction to the song.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What better way to get into a tech pick than so many different anchored jacks and long jacks. It's just so the start is so disgusting. You get this little two-hand trill with the slowdown in BPM, and then I should mention that those rolls are at 1/8 at 260 BPM, so very very fast. And I think there's 4 of them at a time when they come up. So very much a very big point where you can honestly lose a lot of accuracy. But finally, we get into this broken jump tree section.
This is not a broken jump stream section,
Oh, here we go.
actually.
Yeah,
this
sorry.
is the full
No,
jump stream section.
Yep.
260 BPM jump stream here. It's not super dense. The patterns are actually really straightforward, but it is still constant 260 jump stream. And for round of 16, I don't think a lot of people were expecting something like that.
No, not at all. I mean, especially when you consider that Spiral Erebos was 235, I believe. It's definitely a jump, but thankfully, I don't think it's not super extended. You know, it goes on for a couple measures, but then that's about it, and then you transition into something different. So, you know, it really speaks to the tech categorization of the song, and I mean, the song just lends itself to being a tech pick. There's so many things going on. It's so chaotic, and that really reflects in the map.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the type of map that tests your pure mechanics. Like, it's as close to a tech pick as you can get while still being a very heavy mechanics test for the players, which I think is going to be very comfortable for a lot of players, especially those players who, you know, have played FFR or, you know, played it for a long time. I was one of those guys, so maps like this are very comfortable for me.
They definitely have the FFR buff. If you're used to like weird rice tech like this, you're absolutely very much a boon in the rice department in this pool. And hey, it's just such a this map is something to end off, and those long jacks is so funny to me.
Don't
just
mess
like
up
how
the
we
ending
started.
long jack. Very
For
funny.
sure.
That clears out our rice pool. We can move into our first hybrid pick, and that's going to be Masoya Punch Finn Arc Deer. This is by Hightex, 1 minute and 56 seconds, OD 7.7, 225 BPM, so a little bit on the actually lower end of most of the BPMs that we're seeing. But for a hybrid, that is quite on the high side in this map. Going to be probably the most straightforward of the 3 hybrids, at least in my eyes. It's a lot of shifting rhythms on basically jump stream, and then has a lot of transitions in and out of some inverse. So it's going to be more of knowing how to transition in and out of full LNs and then full rights, and that's pretty much what you got for the map.
I do think that's pretty much a very spot-on description, and it you know, if I had to draw a parallel, it would probably be like Tricolor Prism, the hybrid 1 slot from last round. You know, it still keeps that physicality, it still keeps the very straightforwardness and segmented difficulty of LN and Rice. So, I mean, if you did good on that map last round, this might be a good pick for you. I think we did get a decent chunk of hybrid picks in the round of 32, a surprising amount to me at least. And so, I think Finn Arc Deer will see a lot of play for people that are maybe exhausting LN picks, or possibly even Rice picks if it doesn't work out for you, like we saw earlier this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is definitely going to be, in my eyes, for teams who, you get a lot of matchups that are like LNs versus Rice, because a lot of teams just have a clear strength over the others, where they have a comfort with one type of map over the other, and in those types of matches, you don't see hybrids pick that often until like the very ends of the map matches where people are running out of picks. But I think this is going to probably be the first pick if like Rice picks run out, or comfortable Rice picks come out, start to run out, because it just kind of is the most approachable out of the 3 hybrids.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, and also lots of shields in the Ki, so watch out for that. That's gonna do it for Finn Arc Deer. That was hybrid 1. Let's go into hybrid 2. That's Mechanical Jaeger, and it should be noted, as you probably have noticed, there were 6 Rice picks on like 5 in the last pool. There are 3 hybrids here, so we have now moved to a best of 11, first to 6.
Increase the map pool size, increase the amount of points needed to take a victory, but this is hybrid 2. It's also not necessarily, I would say that this is the second most straightforward. It's got a very heavy jack focus, but where hybrid 1 kind of separates the long notes and the Rice section pretty clearly, this one mixes them the whole time, so you need a lot of physicality when the long notes are there, and you need a lot of coordination when the jacks are there.
Yeah, so much Jack focus, whether it be in the LNs or just in very extended Rice sections, which kind of lends itself to the fact that I would say it's pretty coordination heavy, because sometimes you do get Rice Jacks with LN Jacks, and that'll crop up in the Ki in the back half, that'll crop up in some other transitional places. So, I mean, I would say that this is quite chokeable if you aren't very well practiced in it. I should also note that this is a very glorious vibes, if you guys remember that from past tournaments, just because, you know, song choice and also the artist.
Absolutely. I mean, it does have that vibe to it. We get a little bit of a break section before we hit the final quarter of the map, where the LN requirement for this actually gets turned up a little bit of a notch. The density of the long notes goes up, but just because the LNs are turned up a little bit doesn't mean you're going to be missing out on that Jack, because this ending section is super difficult both physically and coordination-wise.
Yeah, having those 1/4 LNs on 2 columns, and then during the LN tails, you have the other double Jack. It's kind of crazy to kind of coordinate. And yeah, this Ki is exceptional. It's very hard to go through, and it's honestly switching up so much that, I mean, I can foresee a lot of teams trying to shy away from this pick, because there's just so much of a choke factor. If you can't really field 3 people that can FC this at a stop, it might be over for you on this map.
Absolutely. I could definitely see that. But that is Hybrid 2. We've got one more Hybrid left to go through, and this one is a doozy. This is Introduction by Alptraum. 2 minutes, 29 seconds, 180 BPM, and an OD of 7.3. So it's not too long, but this, I don't know what to say about this. The physicality required for this is insane. This is by far the least approachable hybrid in this pool, and I would not be surprised to see people ignoring this map.
Yeah, I think this really complements Hybrid 2 super well, because while there's a large Jack focus in Hybrid 2 for this one, I would say the main bulk of it are those deadly streams that you'll see crop up after this. And I mean, come on now, right? Right, Toph? Like, some of these streams are just disgusting.
I don't even know what to say. Like, so it's important to note, this plays very similarly to just a regular tech pick at first. So you can already see some really technical patterns, those trilly bursts, some regular burst patterns as well. And that BPM, those BPM of those bursts is very high, not easy to do, plus now some jacks getting introduced at that 180 BPM. So very, very technical at the gate with some just maybe not even intrusive long notes. That pattern might be a little bit on the difficult side, but you won't start seeing the real intrusive LNs until about this last third of the map. So you just got to make sure you have the physicality for the Rice at the beginning, and then I don't even know how to describe the ending long note patterns.
I can't either, but I think it should be noted that, you know, in this first little section, there's a decent chunk of LNs where the main focus is release, and honestly, we haven't really gotten that in the hybrid yet to its full potential. So to see a lot of quad staggers, weird little double LN staggers with Rice in between, it's really refreshing to see, and really brings a new skill set to players that maybe haven't had their chance yet in playing a map, you know, and just to try their luck at this one, because as you can see, as the density gets pushed up and we really get into these harder sections, it's just such a mess to get through.
Yeah, and these are the long notes I was talking about. They keep the bursty patterns, keep some streams, just increase the density of the long notes, make it more of a pseudo-inverse type pattern section, and that is just so brutal.
Yeah, how do you deal with it? Only your team can tell, and I mean, pretty light intro coming out of it. However, the damage may have already been done. Introduction by Alptraum is very much a scary pick. Like you said, a lot of teams will probably ignore it in favor of banning something else and praying, absolutely praying, that the other team does not pick it. That is going to do it for the hybrid picks. Let's get on into LN1, and it is Favrex with Boost Anima.
Yeah, this is going to be our coordination pick. OD 7.2, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. I mean, it's kind of easy to tell what we're getting at this point. We're starting to get heavier into that Timing Hell-esque range, where you have some Jacky type patterns. I mean, 208's not fast enough that I think that Jack motion is going to be that impactful as far as physicality goes, but it does have the Timing Hell stagger releases everywhere in this, and just really pushes the coordination required to get good accuracy.
For sure, and I like that it's not really just like the staggered patternings that catch you out in terms of coordination. There's a decent amount of Ellen jacks that are quite hard, a lot of Ellen tails that will follow with a rice pattern, or even just some weird pure inverse sections that we see basically right here. It's pretty light at the moment, but I think the sections do get extended a little bit in the back half. So, I mean, Boost Anima kind of bringing the heat when it comes to Ellen coordination. Pretty sizable jump from round of 32 in my opinion, and that really does show in this map.
It absolutely does, and I mean, this is probably on par for what should be expected out of the slot moving forward. LN1 from the previous round did have a similar structure, just didn't quite hit the same notes as, you know, a normal time count might be expected to, but this one definitely feels like one, and it hits the coordination aspect, I think, exactly where the map selectors want it to.
For sure, and you know, honestly, as calm as this section is in the song, is, you know, the patterns are no slouch at all. Lots of weird releases and stuff like that, and we finally get into the vocal inverse section again, and to like a weird transition out. Honestly, I think some of these transitions out of the inverse are really hard because they're very jack-centric focused in terms of LN, and I mean, it's gonna be tough to manage. We've seen a lot of people struggle when it comes to LN, getting in and out of different categorizations within a song, and this one is just no different from the others.
Yeah, absolutely. And this last KI section does last a little bit longer than the other two, so you gotta keep it up for a little bit longer. Despite the, you know, time only being about 2 minutes and 37 seconds for this map, it does feel a lot longer than that. So the release requirement and the stamina that comes with holding down the notes can definitely become a factor for, I think, teams that aren't so comfortable with long notes.
It would be an absolute tragedy if people were to miss on that last little LN Jack section, because I do think that is quite chokeable, but hopefully you guys can all close it out cleanly. That was Boost Anima. That was LN1, and what a way to start it off. Getting into LN2, we see the return of U East Density. This is Hochiko no Shiawase na Nichijo, and it's 192 BPM density.
Yeah, this is a collab between U East and Mint, I believe. So a small collab for the density slot. Like you said, 192 BPM. Not too big of a jump from round of 32. It is higher BPM and a little bit denser in general. So you'll have to deal with closer to inverse than you did on LN2 from the previous round. But that said, the jump, I think this is going to be very comfortable for a lot of teams. I think as far as LN-centric teams go, I think this is going to be a highly sought-after pick for the matches.
Yeah, and I think this map has a lot of personality to it, despite, you know, being labeled density. I think a lot of people think, you know, it's basically jump street, but LN is very boring. No, I think this map has a lot of little tricks inside it. We just passed a part where there was a very long outside column LN anchor at 1/4, and then I think there are a couple of hidden little two-handed trills as well with LN density. So, I mean, I think this map is super fun to play through. I'd love to test it out afterwards, and we do get into this little break section before going right back into the bulk of it.
Yeah, and we'll be getting into another KI section very similar to the first one, though there is a pattern towards the end of this second KI coming up that is really rough. I think it's going to be basically the one point in the map that's going to be maybe inconsistent across the board, because it's got some, if you know, like the Mirage Intelizer pattern with anchors and 3-note inverse around it, it's very similar to that, and those can be so difficult to coordinate.
For sure, and here we are heading into it very shortly, and I mean, wow, this map is pretty tough overall. Definitely a bump in difficulty from round of 32, but I mean, I hope the song makes it fun. I hope the map makes players enjoy it, because this is a very good pick in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's going to do for LN2. We've got one more long note pick left. LN3 is going to be DX Choice Survival Zundoko-chan. And this is going to be our wildcard LN pick. It is pretty straightforward for the most part. It does have some mini jacks, but the main gimmick of this map that you're going to see is it's going to be just general 170 BPM LN density type patterns, but you get mini jacks every now and again. So you get those reverse shields that just stick it in your face a little bit, make sure that you have that coordination, and the reverse shields get more common as the map continues.
Yeah, thanks for that explanation, Toph. I mean, that's a good way of putting the map. I should stray away just from a little bit. You will notice the background. This map originally made by Arcad, but this is Mint's guest difficulty. The lower difficulty was originally a 40M qualifier, and Arcad had asked me to make the background all the way back in like August of 2022 or something like that. So I would have never expected that my background would make it into an MWC live stream. It's kind of crazy to see, honestly.
Photoshop's T-posing Donkey Kong's going to be looking at the players all the time. But you get a little bit of a slower section, still has some of those reverse shields in this section, but the slower should be easier to deal with. Just kind of getting back up to speed, and then
chill. Come on.
Thank everything that Score V2 doesn't cause column locking anymore, because that drill would be a nightmare if that still was a thing.
I think a lot of players should consider maybe putting on mirror if that is your deal, and you do have trouble with that drill, or even just some of the patterns in general. But yeah, I mean, come on now, that was such a big one, and then you finally get it on the left side, though I think it's not as extended as the one on the right side. But to end it off, I mean, super tough chart to go along with, and you get a little percussion rice to go with it, and more drills.
Absolutely. What a map. That's going to be it for our LN pool. We've only got our SV pool and the tiebreaker left, but I'm really excited for this SV pool. We've got to start off SV1, Horizon Blue, the return of more old people. Quill is back.
Yeah,
I'm so excited that he's back.
Toph, you sent me this, and I was flabbergasted at seeing Quill map and SV map for this round.
Indeed, but this is going to be your classic Quill map. It's going to be largely 1x normalized, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get a good sight read for the most part. There are some tough patterns like that teleport there. This part, definitely not exactly what you'd expect. And then right here, there's a couple of memorization patterns that you would have to get through and learn. But other than that, quite the map. Going to have a lot of very difficult jumps. Despite the 1x normalization, it's so hard to read through because of how fast these jumps are.
Yeah, and I mean, the jump in difficulty, I think, is a pretty decent chunk. Last round for SV1, we did have Ignite My Heart, and all we really talked about in that map was that major choke point around the 1000 combo with that one teleport. We already get multiple teleports in the first, 400 notes of this map, and not to mention, the rhythms are not as straightforward at all in this compared to last round, so definitely a huge difference, maybe like night and day, when it comes to comparing Horizon Blue with Ignite My Heart.
Yeah, it definitely is a huge step up from round of 32. And important to note, this ending is definitely a little bit easier than the beginning portions of the map. So if you're able to get through that beginning with good accuracy, you shouldn't have too much of an issue, though. Some of the long notes in this ending section can be very difficult to be consistent on, especially with that slow jam can really throw you off guard.
Yeah, I was going to say, really, the main thing, even though there is a slight decrease in difficulty from the back half, it's just some of these slow jams can really catch you off guard. You get a couple of aggressive jumps in the playfield to end it off, as well as that long jack. But really, that's it for the intro. You just have to memorize a couple of parts, and you are set free.
Indeed. I'm really excited that Quill's made a return. It's so fun to see so many old SV mappers coming back to throw their hat in the ring. And that's going to be it for SV1. We've got one more SV map left. It's going to be our SV2. And I think we've got something a little bit special for you guys. Wow. We've got an Osu original, Super Tony Z, featuring 5-let Les Condenses Magiques, going to be our Osu original for the round of 16, an SV map made by myself. I'm just going to give some quick thanks to everyone who helped make this possible. Thank you to Panthulu for the graphics design. Thank you to Nafi for the storyboard. Thank you to Sakura006 for video and design coordination, mapped by myself, and the replay made by Super Tony Z himself. Really excited to be a part of this, and not to mention, this is also Super Tony Z's introduction to the featured artist system. Welcome aboard as an Osu featured artist. How are you feeling about that, Dynascape?
I mean, congratulations to Super Tonys for being a featured artist. And is there anything Toph Daddy cannot do? He can play for MWC, he can pool, he can commentate for 8 years, he can map SV, and absolutely stun us all with an amazing map. So, I mean, gotta give my flowers to Toph. This guy is insane, and I hope you guys do end up playing this map if you do enjoy SV. So make sure to check it out after this. But that's gonna do it for the regular map pool. There is but one map left, and of course, as we all know, it is the tiebreaker. Let's see what some of these teams may be playing on for this round.
It's going to be Anti-Neutrino Witchcraft, a collab between Mint and Vito here. And oh my goodness, this map is so difficult. 242 BPM, OD of 70.4 to take a little bit of the load off of the accuracy requirement, but it is also nearly 6.5 minutes. It's up there in the time. You get a little bit of a slow section to start off, but this really does not pull punches. The long no difficulty is brutal. The physicality requirement for so many of these patterns is also very apparent and will be apparent right away as we get in already to some of these difficult patterns.
Yeah, I mean, I think this BPM is a very good part where the LNs are super physical, whereas you can get some of these weird bursts and weird patterns and kind of disrupt the players just a little bit, especially with the increase in difficulty from the rest of the regular map pool. And as you can see, I mean, you get a lot of weird staggered LNs and Jax. It's just such a mess to go through. I think Mint did a really, and also Vito, I should say, did a really good job of segmenting that difficulty as well. There's not really a lot of mesh in between LN and Rice you'll see in the map for the most part. At a lot of points, it's really just, is there LN difficulty or is there Rice difficulty?
Yeah, not to mention that if there is long no difficulty in a few places, that is going to require a high amount of physical requirement too. So you get a little bit of that hybrid feel here. We've got some really fast bursts. Not really much of an intro to them either, so you kind of just got to do them cold out of these long notes. So definitely could be seen as a potential choke point. We're seeing a lot of difficult patterns coming out of the gate, and I think starting right about now, we're going to start seeing a major long note section that goes on for like a third of the map. So you got to make sure you're all ready to go with the long notes.
Yeah, and here we go right into it after this little fake out introduction. And I mean, there's a decent amount of Rice scattered through it as well. But like you said, this goes on for so long. It's going to be tough for a lot of players to really reach into that stamina tank. Especially when, honestly, we haven't really been tested too much on stamina in the regular pools just yet. I mean, we've got a couple stamina picks, but really they are nothing like this. This is an absolute monster of a map.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we're only a third of the way through and 3,000 combo. There's a lot left to deal with in this map. And like I said, that long note difficulty does continue, though. We get a little bit of a tech interlude here. These patterns just so brutal. Some of those bursts having, you know, triple jacks at one third jacks at 240 BPM. So I think that comes out to around 180 BPM, which is brutal for that speed.
Yeah, something like 160, which is still like very fast, much faster than the regular core jack pick of this map, and also of this pool, and also just like I think some of the patterns in there, like you said, the triple jacks are absolutely deadly. You have to be so quick on your fingers when you go through some of these portions, and I mean honestly, I think some of these stream bursts are no different as well as we get into some of them.
absolutely continuing the common theme here. Lots of stream bursts, lots of extremely fast and difficult patterns, and weaving some LNs in the middle of it, so it's a little different from that earlier stream section we had. And another tech interlude, very similar to the first one we had, a little less dense. Don't have too many of those triple techs anymore. But this is just going to be our transition into the final third of the map, where it's just gonna get worse. It's gonna get so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we just passed by such an extended stream. It's so crazy to think that some of these players can not, let alone FC it, act it very well. And here we go into a more extended LN section. I mean, some of these parts of the map are just absolutely deadly. You have to wonder whether or not it was Min or Vito that cooked it up. Wow, some of these sections, I mean, come on now. Lots of LN releases, some weird triple staggers, a couple of jacks in between some shields. It's so nasty.
Yeah, not to mention that these long note density patterns are at 242 BPM. Those are extremely fast. I'm not even expecting 240 density at really anywhere for long nodes. I could see it coming around when it comes to your faster long note maps in finals and grand finals, but this is just so much. This is so far ahead of what you might expect from difficulty. I mean, it kind of matches what we were doing for round of 32, where Flying Castle also quite a step ahead of the rest of the round of 32 pool. So this is, especially in a elimination round, if teams are going to tiebreaker on elimination matches, you gotta make sure that it's the better team moving forward. And a difficult map like this is absolutely the way you gotta do it.
Yeah, and I really love this BPM because I think it's just really it's just in that sweet spot where every single category of difficulty in the regular pool, it's slightly higher just in this map. The jacks are 160 compared to 140 in the regular map. The jump stream is 242 compared to 235. The density is 242 compared to, I think, something like, what was it, 190? Not even breaking 200, so
Yeah.
definitely a step up, especially when it comes to LM physicality, which is something very much to watch out for, because you can't really just field some of your LN players for this map thinking it's going to go well.
Yeah, for sure. And you got another tech section similar to what we saw, but adding density this time, really shoving it in your face. Keep the right difficulty. Can't let your stamina drop here. It's been 6 minutes and you still gotta keep everything going, and we still got 400 notes, so little left in the map. But some long notes to get us to the outro of this map.
Yeah, to end off on some of those more extended streams is absolutely evil, but I mean, you've gone through 6 minutes of absolute torture. You've got to push through those last couple measures and get through it. But I mean, come on now. That was a TV for round of 16. I can't wait to see what we have for later rounds. But that was Anti-Neutrino Witchcraft by Mint and Vito. It was a collab, and that was your tiebreaker. Really excited to see some of these teams play on this map, because I do believe we should be getting a couple TBs, but all of the seedings being closer, many more teams being very close in skill levels. But that's gonna do it for us. Toph, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, I got one thing. Before we go for the weekend, I gotta get a shill in one last time.
Oh yeah.
We gotta support our players and support the tournament. Go to the Osu store and get your banners as a preparation for round of 16. You can buy one for your favorite team. You can buy one for all of your favorite teams. You can buy more than one, and they'll all show up on your profile. And as a bonus, if you correctly predict the winner of the Osu 4Key World Cup 2024, and by buying that team banner, you get to keep it for the whole year after the tournament ends. It's a good deal.
Yeah, so make sure you guys get your banners, because they will run out really soon as we progress further and further along into the tournament. Soon you guys won't be able to support your favorite teams. Make sure you get that in. That is going to do it for us. We hope you guys enjoyed the round of 32 weekend. We hope you guys enjoyed this map pool, and we will see you all next weekend.
It slipped right through my fingers. It slipped right through my fingers. You said never let me go. It never worked out fine. I watched it fall away.